Guys, today we are here for resume preparation. So as part of this workshop, we are going to understand below topics what we are going to learn as part of today's workshop. The first thing is, first we are going to understand how to prepare our resume for both freshers and experienced people. How to prepare our resume for both freshers and experienced people. And second one is how to keep projects in resume, and how many projects we need to keep in resume, and how to cover gap as a experience, and how to apply for jobs, in job portals. So these are the topics mainly we are going to discuss today. How to prepare our resume for both freshers and experienced people. What is the resume structure? I can say resume structure. What are the points that we need to mention in the resume structure? How to keep projects in the resume, project description, what are the roles and responsibilities we need to keep, how many projects we need to keep in resume for experienced people. People may have a doubt, sir, do we need to keep one project or we need to keep multiple projects? How many projects we need to keep for 3 years? How many projects we need to keep for 4 years? Those things we are going to understand, and we will discuss how to cover the career gap as experience. Suppose if you have already completed your graduation 3 years back or 4 years back, how to cover that gap as experience, how to apply for jobs in the job portals. These are the topics that we are going to discuss mainly, and how to manage PF and UAN. So when you are going for experience, then they will ask your previous company PF, and they are going to ask what is your UAN number and what are the bank statements that they are going to ask. All right, let's try to understand. At the end of the session, if you guys are having any question, then you can discuss with me. And I'm going to show you some sample resumes also, and I will share those resumes once our session got completed. So before going to start the session, guys, so please subscribe with our Telegram channel. I'm giving the Telegram channel link in the chat box. People who are joining from the Zoom, please join in our Telegram channel. I have given Telegram channel link in the URL. People who are attending from YouTube, so in the Telegram, you can find our channel with @Ashok IT official. This is our channel URL. Go to Telegram app in the mobile. You can search with this username @Ashok IT official. This is our channel URL. The people who are joining in the Zoom, I have given the link in the chat box. You can access channel with that link. After this workshop is completed, this workshop video and sample resumes, I'm going to share in our Telegram channel. URL I have given in the chat box. Zoom people, please join with that URL. If the URL is not working, you can also open the app and search with this username. So if you join in our channel, then you will get this video and you will get the sample resumes also. Perfect. So this is our Telegram channel URL or username, I can say. This is our username. Perfect. Now, coming to resume structure. So what are the points that we need to keep in the resume? Resume structure. What are the points we need to keep in the resume? First thing is, we are going to keep professional summary. That means, what are the concepts that you know? whether you are from a Java background or you are from DevOps background, whatever it is, or you are from testing background, you are from UI background. The first thing that we are going to mention as a professional summary. That means in which whatever, if you are from Java, what are the concepts that you are aware of in the Java? What are the technologies that you are aware of in the Java? That we are going to mention as a professional summary. That is the first section we are going to mention in the resume. And coming to second section, we are going to mention work experience. Work experience, that means in which company you are currently working, from which date to which date you are working, in the what is your previous company, how many years you worked in the previous company, and from which date you are working in the present company, what is that company name. That we are going to mention as work experience. Work experience. After this, we are going to mention our educational details. Educational details. Then we can keep our technical skills. We can keep our technical skills. That means what are the technologies that you know? Those are technical skills you can mention as a fourth section. And in the fifth section, we are going to mention projects. Fifth section, we are going to mention projects. So many people will have a doubt, sir, how many projects we need to keep? Sir, how many projects we have to keep in the, how many projects we are going to keep in the resume? So that also we are going to understand. So if you are a fresher, say one project you are going to keep. If you are a experience, so for 3 years experience, for 4 years experience, how many projects we have to keep? That also we are going to discuss. All right. Professional summary will be the first section in our resume. I can mention this as section 1. Section 1 as a professional summary. And coming to section 2, we are going to keep our work experience. I mean to say company's details. That means in which company you worked previously and which company currently you are working. So tenure of that company, how many years you worked in that company, that you are going to mention. And educational details. Guys, here, when you are going for a fresher interview, in the education details, you will mention your SSC, your +2, your graduation details. But when you are going for experienced interview, in the educational details, you will keep just your highest qualification. I will come to all those points. Now, next one, section 4, technical skills, section 5, projects. Fine. So in the resume, mainly we are going to maintain these are 5 sections, guys. First one is professional summary. Second one is work experience, like company's details we are going to mention. I will show my resume also. In the third section, we are going to mention educational details. And in the fourth section, technical skills we are going to mention. In the fifth section, we are going to mention the project's information. And sixth section, declaration will be available. In the sixth section, declaration will be available. So this is the resume structure. This is the format that we are going to follow to prepare a resume. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear? Professional summary will be our first section. Work experience will be our second section. Educational details will be our third section. Technical skills will be our fourth section. Projects with roles and responsibilities. Projects with a description and roles and projects with a description, comma, roles and responsibilities. That means what you have done in that project, that also we are going to mention. Technical skills will be available. Projects with a description, roles and responsibilities we are going to mention, and a declaration will be available as part of the last section. Fine, perfect. Coming to professional summary. Sir, as part of this professional summary, what we need to write? As part of this professional summary, what we have to write? Your work experience. In the professional summary, we are going to write our work experience. For example, I'm going to open my Java resume. I will show you Java resume as well as the DevOps resume also. First, I'm going to open my Java resume. so that you will get some idea what we are going to mention. All right. Now in this resume, first you are going to mention your email ID and your mobile number. I suggest you to create a new email ID and take a new mobile number when you are applying for jobs. Create a new mail ID and create a new mobile number when you are trying for jobs, right? Because freshers, as a fresher, you might have already uploaded your resume with old mail ID in the Naukri and all. So please take a new mail ID from the Gmail and take a new SIM card and create a resume and apply for the jobs. So you mention your email ID and mobile number, and you are going to mention your name also. Fine. Next one, coming to professional summary. Coming to professional summary, here I have mentioned what all the things that I have done in my previous company, what all the concepts that I have aware. All those details I have mentioned as professional summary. So in the professional summary, here I mentioned my previous resume, having overall 8 years of experience in analysis, design, development, research, and implementation of software applications. I'm telling that. So what is my experience and what I have done in the last 8 years or 9 years of time? Having overall 8 years of experience in analysis, design, development, research, and implementation of software applications. So if you are having 3 years of experience, you can mention just 3. Having overall 3 years, or if you want to go with 1.5 years experience, you can just change this number. Having overall 1.5 years of experience in that area. And after this, I'm going to mention that in the Java, there are so many frameworks available, there are so many APIs are available. What all the things that I'm aware of in the Java that I am mentioning. Good experience in developing applications using Java J2EE technologies with Java, JDBC, Servlet, JSP, Struts, Spring IOC, Spring AOP, Spring MVC, Spring Boot, Spring Data JPA, Spring ORM, Hibernate with JPA, SOAP Web Services, RESTful Services, Design Patterns, MVC, and Microservices. So whatever I know in the Java, so everything I'm mentioning that I'm having good experience in developing applications like this. Suppose if you are preparing a DevOps resume, I will come to that. What we are going to mention in the profile summary for the DevOps people, I will mention that. Here, Java people will mention all the Java related technologies. DevOps people will mention all the DevOps tools that they are going to work on, that they have already worked on. And next one, I'm saying that I'm having good experience in developing both monolithic and microservices based applications. Nowadays, the trend is microservices in the market. You need to say that you are having microservices work experience. And I mentioned that I worked with XML and XML technologies. When we are working with REST APIs, so REST API can deal with XML data as well as JSON data. I mentioned that I worked with XML and I worked with JSON. I worked with Apache Kafka for processing stream of data, Apache Kafka. Currently, we are using Apache Kafka as a message broker between applications. So when we are developing event-driven microservices, one microservice is going to communicate with another microservice. Inter-service communication will be available. Sometimes microservices will not communicate directly. They just want to exchange the data. One application will give the data for another application by using Kafka as a mediator. Being a Java developer, now you have to know how to work with Kafka because Kafka is having lot of demand. Kafka is having lot of demand. And here I mentioned that how to create UML diagrams for our projects. When we are going to work on the development area, we need to design class diagram, flow diagrams, and all right. So those UML diagrams we are going to create. I mentioned that I worked with UML design also. There are some tools available which we are going to use to create the UML diagrams like Microsoft Visio, Star UML, and Enterprise Architect. Several tools are available. So in my previous company, I used this Microsoft Visio to draw the UML diagrams. For that, I mentioned that point. I'm having experience with that. And here I mentioned experience with the software development process. Models are like agile methodology and waterfall methodology, spiral methodology. These things we have used. And experience with the front-end development using JSP, using HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, and Angular. So I'm saying that I'm good with Java. Java is used for backend development. I'm saying that I'm good with XML and JSON for APIs development. And I'm saying that I'm having work experience with Agile methodology, which is currently trending in the market. And I'm saying that experience in using and implementing design patterns in the project. In every project, we are going to use the design patterns. Design patterns are nothing but the best solutions to solve the common problems, like a singleton design pattern, factory design pattern, abstract design pattern, MVC design pattern, microservices design pattern, Saga design pattern. There are so many circuit breaker design pattern. There are so many design patterns are available. So as a programmer, you have to work with the design patterns in the project. So I'm mentioning that point as well. I have experience in implementing design patterns and experience in working with batches to perform bulk operations. Experience in working with batches. So in the real-time project, batch operations will be available. Batch operation means lot of data will be available in the database. We need to perform operation on that data. Bulk operation we need to perform. The program which is performing the bulk operation on the data is called as a batch process. For simple example, uh, sending messages to 1,000 customers at a time. That is a bulk operation. And bank account holders are available. Let's take example HDFC Bank. In the HDFC Bank, so millions of customers are available. For all those customers, every month, HDFC Bank application will generate a bank statement, will send it to their mail ID. That is called as a batch operation. One program will perform bulk operation on the data. That program is called as a batch operation. In the real time, most of the projects will have batch operations also. In our Java real-time project course, we are covering this batch process as well. Bulk operation we are going to perform. So this also we are going to mention. Experience in working with the batches to perform bulk operation. Experience in working with the bulk operation. So here, and I'm mentioning that having experience in working with Oracle, MySQL, and H2 database. So I can even mention that Oracle, MySQL, MongoDB, comma, AWS RDS also. Nowadays we are using cloud database. In the AWS we have RDS like this. So what are the databases that you are aware of? What are the databases that you are aware of? Those databases you can mention. So if you observe in my professional summary, I mentioned how many years of experience I have. I mentioned what are the technologies I know for the backend development. I mentioned architecture, microservice architecture development. I mentioned API data formats, XML and JSON. I mentioned Apache Kafka. I mentioned SDLC models. I mentioned my front-end development skills, and I mentioned design patterns. I mentioned database details also. Database details also. This is my professional summary. Professional summary, nothing but what I have done. Where is my experience in these years of time? The 2 years or 3 years or the 10 years. Whatever you spent in the industry in these years of time, what you have done. That I am mentioning as part of my professional summary. I mentioned that in the professional summary. Come down. Here, next one. Here I mentioned some other points as well. Analytical skills are available. Analysis part for the programmers. Analysis is very, very important. Okay, guys. Right? Analytical skills are there for the programmers or for everybody. Analysis is the most important to do the job. And I mentioned ORM frameworks. And here I mentioned some DevOps tools also. Being a developer, knowing the DevOps tools is very, very advantage, right? So Jenkins tool for CI/CD, Jira tool for project management, experience with Sonar Cube for the code review, test life cycle, bug life cycle, performance testing by using JMeter, providing trainings for the team members internally in the company, and I'm a good team player, experience in dealing with onshore and offshore teams. So these all are my professional summary details I have mentioned. So coming to here, what I have mentioned here, I mentioned experience, years of experience I mentioned as the first point, years of experience I mentioned, and I mentioned Java technologies. I mentioned Java technologies. I mentioned here microservices. and I mentioned REST API details. I mentioned design patterns. I mentioned design patterns. And here I have mentioned about front-end development details, front-end technologies, front-end technologies I have mentioned, and I mentioned some DevOps tools also. DevOps tools also. If you are aware of AWS, then you can add, I have not updated my resume, AWS services also. The people who are having Java with the DevOps experience. So in the professional summary, you can keep all these points. How many years of experience you are having? What are the technologies that you know in the Java? Mainly, you have to mention nowadays to get the job, Spring Boot and microservices is mandatory for the Java people. You need to mention Spring Boot and microservices in the resume. Microservices architecture you have to mention. Every project nowadays developing with microservices architecture only. And REST API details we have to mention. Mainly in the REST API we are going to deal with JSON data. Design patterns you have to mention. What are the design patterns that you are using in your project, right? You need to say that I am aware of design patterns. What are the front-end technologies? Nowadays, companies are looking for Angular or React JS developers, back-end development with Java, front-end development with Angular or React, so that you are a full stack developer. DevOps tools. So we are going to work with Maven. We are going to work with GitHub. GitHub for code storage. Every developer has to work with GitHub for code storage, Maven for build tool, Jenkins for CI/CD deployments, and we are going to use Docker for containerization. We are going to use Kubernetes for orchestration purpose. You have to mention these tools also. Being a Java developer, you should know all these tools. Being a Java developer, you should know all these tools. Coming to AWS services, some services that we are aware: EC2, S3, EC2, S3, RDS, EC2, S3, RDS, right? And Route 53, VPC, some services. What are the services that you are aware of in the AWS? Java with the DevOps AWS combination people can keep all these points in the professional summary. Can keep all these points in the professional summary. For example, if we go to only DevOps resume, if we go to only DevOps people, not from the Java background, so what they need to keep as a professional summary? Let me show you that. So now you have seen the professional summary for Java guy, Java resume professional summary. Front-end details, back-end details, DevOps tools. Here we need to mention database also. You need to mention database details as well. Databases. What are the databases you know? Oracle, MySQL, NoSQL databases also having demand in the market, MongoDB, and cloud database also you can mention. Instead of creating the database on our machines, we can take the database from the cloud. AWS RDS is available. All right, look at these points. What you are going to mention in the professional summary. What is your experience that you have to mention? And please remember that if you are not aware of any technology or any concept, don't mention that in the resume. For example, if you don't know how to work with MongoDB, so please don't mention. Don't mention. You have to remove. Why? Because tomorrow when they are conducting the interview for you, based on your resume only, they are going to ask the questions. For example, if you don't know VPC in the AWS, don't mention that. No problem. Because nobody will work on everything available in the AWS. Nobody will work on everything available in the Java. Whatever you know, whatever the experience you have, only those things you have to keep in the resume. Just for build up, don't make your resume big by adding all the things which you are not aware of. For example, Java people, if you are not aware of the MongoDB, don't mention that in the resume. It's not mandatory to mention. If you have the experience, then only you have to mention that in the resume. Because when you attend the interview, they are going to ask the questions based on your resume points only. They will read your resume, they will read your professional summary. Based on this only, they are going to frame the questions. All right, guys, if you are not aware of any point, don't mention that. Don't mention that. So your resume should be simple. Whatever the experience you have, only those things you have to keep in the resume. Are you guys clear? Yeah. The people who are watching from YouTube, I'm sorry guys. So you guys are not able to join in the Zoom. So I did not expect that this much crowd will be there for resume preparation. So my Zoom capacity is only 500. So next time I will increase the capacity to 1000. I think more than 200 to 250 people are not able to join in the Zoom. I will increase the capacity for next workshop. My apologies. So I did not expect that this much crowd will be there for that. Okay. I will share this document also after the class is completed, and I will share this resumes also after this class is completed. In our Telegram channel, I'm going to share that. In the Telegram channel, I'm going to share that. Clear with, are you guys clear? Good. Now, let me show you a DevOps resume professional experience, professional summary. In the DevOps resume, name and email, mobile number will be available. Name, email, mobile number will be available. Under professional summary, observe what is the professional summary we are keeping for a DevOps people. Software professional with 3+ years of experience in the DevOps environment and cloud AWS, Amazon Web Services. So if you see in the Java, I mentioned that having experience in design, development, implementation of the application. When it comes to the DevOps, we are mentioning that having the experience in the DevOps environment with AWS cloud, having hands-on experience in the Git tool, Ansible, Terraform, Docker, Jenkins, Maven, Nexus, SonarQube, CloudWatch, and Kubernetes. So Java people professional summary, DevOps people professional summary will be different. Okay, so that means what is your work, what you are doing daily, what you have done in the company, those things you are going to mention in the professional summary. Then next one, designed and build deployed multitude applications using almost all of AWS services like EC2, S3, IAM, SNS, VPC, SES, CloudWatch, EFS, load balancer, Route 53, auto scaling, RDS, AWS CLI, CloudFront, and database snapshots. That means what are the tools you know in the DevOps? What are the services you know in the AWS? We have to mention. If any particular tool or any particular service, if you are not aware, then don't mention that. As I told you, whatever you keep in the resume, from that only they are going to ask the questions. Having experience with job automations. In the Linux, we have a cron jobs. We can schedule the jobs execution. We can take the backup of our data from the Linux machines by using these cron jobs. And having the experience in configuration management, having the experience in the Docker, having the experience in the Kubernetes, we are going to mention that. Responsible for all tools configurations and coordinating with the team members. In strong, effective communication skills, ability to interact with the clients and the team members, commitment oriented. Like this, we are going to mention all these points. Team communications, good team player, like that you can mention. And mainly your DevOps tools that you are working and your AWS services that you are working. As a DevOps engineer with AWS, Linux is mandatory. So you need to mention having hands-on experience in Linux operating system. The environment setup, the infrastructure setup we are going to do on the Linux. So you need to have the knowledge on the Linux. You have to learn the Linux. Not only for the DevOps people, Linux is required for developers also. Both developers plus the DevOps AWS engineers should have strong knowledge on the Linux. That is very important. Are you guys clear with the professional summary? Whatever we know, those things we are going to keep in the professional summary. For developers, this is the professional summary. For DevOps engineers, if you are from a DevOps or AWS background, DevOps with the AWS background, so what we are going to mention as a professional summary. So mainly here also you are going to maintain years of experience, DevOps tools that you are working on. What are the tools that you are using to make your build automation for the project, DevOps tools, and what are the services that we are using, AWS services that you need to mention in the professional summary. Developers are going to mention all these details. Java developers. Professional summary for the Java developers, professional summary for DevOps with AWS engineers. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with this? You can mention that infrastructure creation. You can mention that Docker files creation, experience in Docker files, experience with Docker, especially experience with Docker, experience with Kubernetes, experience in configuration management by using Ansible. You can mention these points also. Experience in configuration management, and you can mention that experience with the Kubernetes manifest files, experience in Kubernetes manifest files, YMLs basically, experience in monitoring the applications, monitoring tools will be available, experience in pipelines and applications monitoring. As a DevOps engineer, you should have that monitoring skill. How your applications are running, how your pipelines are running, what are the issues in the pipeline, what are the issues in the application. Those things you should be able to monitor. Experience in pipelines creation, pipelines monitoring, application monitoring. These points you have to mention as a DevOps engineer. Years of experience, DevOps tools, AWS services, infrastructure creation. We are going to create the infrastructure creation using Terraform. Terraform is having lot of demand in the market, which is used to create the infrastructure as a code. Every DevOps engineer, cloud engineers should know how to work with Terraform. Docker, Kubernetes. Without having the knowledge on the Dockers and Kubernetes, your resume will not get shortlisted for the interview for the DevOps people. This is the mandatory skill for the DevOps people. Nowadays, for developers also they are asking Docker and Kubernetes. Experience in configuration management using Ansible. Experience in configuration management using Ansible. Experience in Kubernetes manifest files creation. In the Kubernetes, everything will be managed as a YML only. The deployment we are going to manage as a YML file. That YML files you should be able to create, and you should be able to create the pipeline. Experience with the pipelines creation. Experience in CI/CD pipelines creation. Jenkins pipeline we are going to create to automate our build and deployment. CI/CD pipelines we have to create as a DevOps engineer. DevOps engineers will create the CI/CD pipeline. Developers will execute the CI/CD pipeline for non-prod environments. Developers also should have that pipeline knowledge. Jenkins. In our project course, we are covering that Jenkins. How to create the pipeline. Java people. How to run the pipeline to deploy the code. In the real time, DevOps people will create the pipeline and they are going to monitor that pipeline. DevOps people are responsible for the pipeline creation. Java people are responsible for executing those pipelines in the non-prod environment. In the prod environment, DevOps people only will run the pipeline for releasing the project to the production. So all that experience. So as a DevOps engineer, what you are going to do, that you need to mention in your professional summary. Is this clear for everyone? Professional summary, what we need to mention, both developers and DevOps engineers. Just look at this once. Once this professional summary is clear for you, then I will move on to the next concept, next section in the resume. And once again, I'm repeating, if you are not aware, just for build up, don't add extra content in the resume. Based on your resume only, they will ask the interview questions. So you don't need to mention everything in the professional summary, everything in the resume. Whatever you know, you keep only those points. If you don't know, don't keep it in the resume. Don't make your resume big with unnecessary points, which you are not aware. For example, as a developer, if you are not aware of Linux, don't mention Linux in the resume. If you mention Linux in the resume, they will ask 1 or 2 questions from the Linux also. If you mention Linux in your resume as a Java developer, then they will ask you some questions on the Linux. If you are not able to answer those two questions, they will get a negative impression. They will get a negative impression. By mistake, if you keep Linux in the resume, if you don't know the Linux commands, when they ask one or two questions on the Linux, your face will become blank. You can't answer that because you don't know that Linux. Then they will get negative impression. This person is not answering. So that's why whatever you know, you keep only those points. Whatever you don't know, don't keep in the resume. After preparing the resume, read your resume 2 to 3 times and check it. Every point you mention in the resume, you should know. You should have experience with that. Then only keep it. If you don't know, remove that. Remove that. Just for build up, don't add the new points. Clear? Are you clear with the professional summary? This is developer's professional summary. This is DevOps engineer's professional summary. I will share the sample resumes. You can use this. Just I'm giving the overview. What we need to mention in the first section of our resume. Professional summary. Clear, guys? Shall I move on to the next concept? People watching from YouTube, are you guys understanding this? Are you guys able to understand this? Yep, just respond in the chat box. The doubts I am going to address at the end of the session, guys. If I give the permission to speak now, people will not allow me to teach the concept. Everybody will keep on asking the doubts. Session will not move forward. Session will not move forward. People will keep on asking the doubts. Once my explanation, once our concepts are completed, at the end, definitely you can talk to me for the doubts clarifications. Clear? Yep. Thank you, guys. There are 200 people watching in the YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel and click on bell icon for updates. Perfect. Next one, work experience, guys. So we need to mention our work experience. We need to mention our work experience. And this is important. If you are having genuine experience, that means you are already working in one company. You already having some work experience. So that company experience details you have to mention here. Your work experience details you have to mention here, right? So if you see in my resume, I have mentioned my work experience. I'm not showing you the actual company names here. I mentioned as worked as a software engineer with so and so company from August 2013 to April 2015. So for this, but for this period, I worked for some company. I'm not giving the company name here. You can add your company. So now worked as a software engineer with so and so company from August 2013 to April 2015. For example, if it is a TCS, you can add like this. Worked as a software engineer with TCS from August 2013 to April 2015. Then worked as a software engineer with, for example, let's take from IBM from April 2015 to November 2018. And currently working as a software engineer with, example, let's assume that Microsoft from 2018 to till date. So that means your current company, you are going to mention like this, and your previous companies, you are going to mention like this. And here, this is for genuine experienced people. If you are really having that experience and you are going to mention like that. Suppose if you are having fake experience, that means you are trying to get the job with some fake experience. Fake experience people, don't keep two companies here. Why? Because if you are having the genuine experience, if you have the documents for all the three companies, you can mention all the three company details which you are really having the experience. Suppose if you don't have any genuine experience, now you are doing the course either Java or DevOps or UI, you want to go with the experience. You want to go with the experience, right? Then don't keep two companies, guys. Keep only one company. Why? Because if you keep two companies, when you join in the, when you are selected in the interview, they will ask documents from all the companies. Whatever the companies you mentioned, they will ask experience documents from all the companies. So the people who don't have a genuine experience don't keep 2 to 3 companies. So if you have 3 years gap or if you have 4 years gap, you need to mention that as only one experience, only one company experience. Okay. If you have if you have 3 years experience, 3 years gap, show that 3 years experience, show that 3 years experience in one company only, because you need to submit the documents for only one company. If you keep 2 companies, they will ask the documents from all the 2 companies. For example, if you have 3.5 years gap, career gap, 3.5 years gap is there. Show 3 years, show 3 years experience, show 3 years experience in one company. If they ask you, what about that half year? You can say that once my graduation completed, I have done some course. After that, after 6 months, I got the job. After 6 months, I got the job. That 5 months or 6 months of time, you can say that I have done the course. After that, I got the job as a fresher. From 3 years, I am working. For example, if you have if you have 4 years gap, same thing you can say. If you have 4 years gap, show 3 to 3.5 years experience. Show to 3 to 3.5 years experience in one company only. For genuine people, if you have 2 companies, you can keep 2 companies because you will have the documents. The people who don't have a genuine experience, don't keep 2 companies because you will get the problem. Why? You need to take the documents from the consultancies. If you want to take the documents from the consultancies for 2 companies, you need to pay the amount 2 times. So that's why keep only one company for 3 years or 3.5 years. Generally, when you are going with a fake experience, you will go with 3 to 4 years of experience, right? 1 year, sometimes 2 years, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, maximum 4. If you go more than 4, you cannot manage the pressure in the company. So I don't suggest to keep more than 4 years. Even in my Java batches also, in the DevOps batches also, I'm saying the same thing. 3 to 3.5 is manageable. 4, little difficult. 4 plus, you can't. If you keep 4 plus years experience as a fake, if you keep 4 plus years of experience as a fake, then they may consider you as a senior software engineer and they will give you a lot of responsibilities. You can't do that. You can't do that. Okay. Suppose if you have 5 years gap, if you have 5 years gap and you want to go with only 2.5 years experience, 5 years gap is there, but you want to go with only 2.5 years experience. You can say that first 2.5 years, first 2.5 years, I have done a business at my hometown, at my hometown. After that, that business got closed. From last 2.5 years, from last 2.5 years, working in IT. After my graduation got completed, 2.5 years, I have started one supermarket in my hometown. But 2 years it was fine. But after that, that business went into losses. It was not running properly. So that is the reason I have closed that business and I have started working in the IT from last 2.5 years. So if you have more experience, you have 4 years experience or you have 5 years experience, 5 years gap is there. But the total 5 years you can't keep in your resume to attend the interview. If you go with 5 years experience, lot of expectations will be there from you. So that's why don't go with 5 years experience. This 5 years experience, you split into 2 parts. First part, non-IT experience. Second part, IT experience. Now this 2.5 years experience, you need to keep in one company. That one company documents you have to submit. As a fake guy, if you keep 2 companies, you need to submit the documents for 2 companies. That will become problem. So that's why you need to keep only one company, either 3 or 3.5. So I suggest you to go with 3 or 3.5 for fake people with one company only. Suppose if you have 6 years gap, if you have 6 years gap in your career, that means in 2016 you completed your BTech or MBA or MCA, whatever it is. If you have 6 years gap, first 3 years, you can say that done a business. From last 3 years working in IT. Last 3 years working in IT. Like this, you need to divide it. Whatever the gap you have, you need to divide that gap. If you have just 2 years gap, keep 2 years experience in one company. That's it. If you have 2 years gap, show that 2 years in one company. Sir, how to show that gap? How to get the documents, experience documents? There are consultancies available who are going to provide you the documents for you. Nowadays, it is an open secret. Open secret. In the last 2 years, how many people got the jobs with experience in the COVID situation? I think you have realized it, right? How many people from your village or from your group got the jobs in the COVID? So many people got, lot of people got the jobs in the COVID situation with the fake experience. Lakhs of people, they don't have the gap, they don't have the genuine experience, so they show some fake experience and they got the jobs. That means whatever the experience you are keeping, for the experience company will ask the proof. That proof nothing but the documents. Those documents you can get from the consultancy people. Consultancy people will give you those documents. Got it? 2 years gap, you can show directly the 2 years. 3 years gap, show the 3 years gap in one company. 3.5 years, show 3 years in one company. 5 months, you can say course. 5 months, you can say as course. You can say as learning period. 5 months I have done the course. After that, I got the job. From 3 years, I'm working. 4 years, show 3.5 years of experience in one company, and 5 months you can show as a learning period. You can mention that. No need to keep in the resume. If they ask you, you can keep like, you can mention like, you can say like this. If you have 5 years gap, but you don't want to go with 5 years, you want to go with only 2.5 years or 3 years. First 2.5 years, I had done a business. From last 2.5 years working in IT. 6 years gap. First 3 years I had done a business at hometown. Last 3 years working in IT. If anybody having 8 years gap, same formula. If you have 8 years gap, same formula. First 5 years, I have done a business at hometown. From last 3 years, working in IT. Like this, you can cover that gap as an experience. You can cover that gap as a experience. Are you guys clear with this? And one more thing is, whenever you are mentioning here, when you are going for fake experience now, there are two types of companies. One is parent company, which is also called as payroll company, parent company or payroll company, and the second one is client company. Now, payroll company or parent company, nothing but the company which is paying salary for us. The company which is paying the salary for us, that company is called as a parent company or payroll company. Client company means for which we will do the work. The company for which we are going to develop the project. The company for which we will do the work. We will do the work or we will do the project. That company is called as a client company. And here parent company. In the resume, you mention client company. You no need to mention parent company. Why? Because your parent company is a consultancy who will give the documents for you. So in the resume, you keep your client company. Say that you are working on TCS, but you don't have the experience with the TCS. You are a fake experience guy. TCS, if you mention, that is not your parent company. If you keep TCS is your parent company, they will ask TCS company documents. What is the proof that you worked in the TCS? Offer letter, hike letter, pay slips, everything they are going to ask from the TCS. No, you will keep client company in the resume, and when the HR call you, they will ask, are you permanent employee for TCS? No, TCS is my client company. My permanent company is some consultancy. Some consultancy name you are going to mention. From which consultancy you will take the documents, those consultancy people will give you some names. So those names you have to keep. You need to remember that. In the resume, you are going to mention client company only. In the resume, you will mention client company only. But when the HR calls you, so suppose for example, if I mention like this, TCS, and I'm going to keep it as Microsoft. Okay. When somebody look at my resume, they will ask, hey Ashok, are you permanent employee for Microsoft? No, Microsoft is my client company. My permanent company is a global systems. Why I am saying global systems? Global system is a consultancy. Global system will give the documents by taking some money. Those documents we can submit to the company where I have selected. Client company will be available, parent company will be available. If you are having genuine experience, this concept is not applicable for you. When you have the fake experience, you have to play this game. In the resume, you can mention client company name. When the HR asks you, are you permanent employee for the company? No, I'm not permanent employee. I am working for other company. TCS is my client company. Like that you can mention. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand? Are you guys able to understand what is parent company and what is client company? Now, when you go for fake experience, consultancies consultancies will give experience docs, experience documents you will get from the consultancies. That company you need to say, that company you need to say as parent company or your payroll company. From which consultancy you are going to take the documents, that consultancy company you need to say as a parent company. And client company you can keep anything. TCS, Infosys, Oracle, whatever you want, you can keep as a client company. So tomorrow when you join, when you select for the company, company will ask the documents only from the parent company. Parent company will give the salary and documents also, experience documents also. The company which is paying salary for us and giving experience documents. Your offer letter, your hike letter, your pay slip, relieving letter, service letter, everything you will get from your parent company. So for example, I will say that client company is the TCS, client company is the TCS, payroll company or payroll company I will mention as global systems, so something like that. Global systems is a fake company. Consultancy people will give the documents from the global systems. But in the resume, we are mentioning as a TCS. In the resume, we are mentioning as a TCS. Why we are keeping as a TCS? The people, the companies, when they are searching our resume in the Naukri, by seeing this brand, they will download our resume. If I keep global systems, nobody knows who is global system. What is a global system? That's why famous companies we are going to keep as client companies. It is a trick. It is a trick. Now, by looking at the TCS, they will understand. By looking at the TCS, they will download my resume and they will shortlist my resume. Then they will ask, hey Ashok, you are working in TCS. Yes, I am working in the TCS. Unless they ask, I will not tell that TCS is my client. Once interview is selected, they don't need that. Unless they ask, I will not tell that TCS is my client. In my resume, I'm going to mention TCS. By looking at this TCS, they will download my resume. If they ask, then I will tell that TCS is my client, global system is my parent, global system is my parent company, payroll company. Are you guys clear with my point? So in the resume, I suggest you to keep only client company name, not the payroll company name. When they ask in the interview, what is your payroll company? Then you can mention that. Like this, you can keep your work experience in the resume. You need to be very careful when you are keeping your work experience. If you don't have genuine experience, don't keep two companies, guys, to cover the gap. Keep only one company, because if you keep three companies, you need to submit the documents of all the three companies. That means three times you have to pay the money for consultancy. If you take documents from one company, only one time amount you are going to pay for them. Clear for everyone? This section is a common for everybody. There is no difference for Java people and DevOps people. This work experience is a common section for everyone. Professional summary will be different. Professional summary will be different. Professional summary, Java developers professional summary, DevOps people professional summary is different. Coming to work experience, it is common for everybody. If you have a genuine experience, I don't need to tell you anything. You already know what to do. If you have a fake experience, then you need to play this game. Clear, guys? Are you clear with my point? This is risky game. We have to play. We have to play this game. Client company and parent company. Client company means where we are doing our work. Payroll company means from where we are taking the documents. Consultancy people will give you some names. From those names, you have to select one payroll company. So if you select the name as a global, I'm taking some example as a global system. If you take the payroll company as a global system, then that consultancy people will give the documents from global systems. They will charge some amount and they will give you the documents. In the resume, we are mentioning as a TCS. So now IBM people downloaded your resume. IBM called you. Hey, Raju, are you working in TCS? Yes, I am working in the TCS. How many years of experience do you have? I'm having 3.5 years experience. Is TCS is your payroll company? No. TCS is my client company. My payroll company is a global system. Then they will ask you, where is your parent company? My parent company is in Hyderabad, Madhapur location. What is the address of that? So to check your confidence, they will ask address, building number, door number also. So whatever the payroll company you are mentioning, whatever the client company you are mentioning, you need to know the company address details also to check whether you are really genuine. Suppose, for example, you kept a payroll company as a global system. Suddenly HR called you. What is the address of your global system? Madhapur. In Madhapur, where it is? That clarity you should have. We are doing the mistake. Mistake we have to do perfectly. Samjha? We are keeping the fake experience. We have to keep it perfectly. Right. So whatever the companies you are keeping in the resume, that company address, that company official mail ID, company contact numbers, prepare one paper, keep that paper in your pocket. Whenever you get the call, interview call, just open the paper and see the address. If they ask, sometimes they will ask to check whether you are genuine or fake. So that should be handy. Keep that in your paper. That paper you keep in your pocket. Harshal asking, yes. If you keep three companies experience documents you have to submit. For 1 to 1.5 years experience also same concept now. If you have 1 year gap or 1.5 year gap, if you have 1.5 years gap, show that 1.5 years in one company. Show that 1.5 years in one company. That's it. What is the big deal? You completed your BTech in 2021. 1.5 year completed already. That 1.5 year you can keep as an experience. That 1.5 year you can keep as a experience. 1.5 year you can keep as a experience. If you have 2 years gap, 2 years gap you can keep as experience. 5 years gap, if you have 5 years, don't keep the 5 years experience. You split that 5 years experience into two parts. You split that 5 years experience into two parts: IT experience and non-IT experience. Why? Because if you keep 5 years, you can't manage that pressure. You can't manage that pressure. Okay, good. You got the clarity? What is payroll company and what is client company? Why we are going payroll and client? Payroll company means the company which is giving documents for us, fake documents. Fake documents. Client company means in which company we are doing the work. We are doing the work. So here, if you have genuine experience, you can keep that company name. If you have fake experience, keep the client company name. When they ask, you need to tell your payroll company name. From the payroll company, you are going to get the documents. If I am working your TCS, TCS is my client, global system is my payroll. Will I get any document from the TCS? No. TCS is just our client. We will not get any document from the TCS. Documents we will get from our payroll company. Clear for all of you? Yeah. Whatever the doubts you have, note down on the paper. I will answer all your doubts at the end of the session. If you are getting doubts here, please take a notebook, write down your doubts. You can talk to me at the end of the session. Okay. Because it is very difficult now. Almost there are 700 people are attending this workshop. If I keep on answering the questions now, I can't move forward. I don't know that seriously this much demand there for resume preparation workshop, man. I am not aware of this. This much demand is there for resume preparation workshop. So next time I will come up with a high capacity in the Zoom, 1000 capacity I will increase. Now some people are commenting in the YouTube, some people are commenting in the Zoom. I will answer your questions at the end. I will try to cover all the possible options. Still, if your question is not answered, at the end of the session, you can talk to me. You can talk to me. And sample resumes also I will share, guys. Don't worry. Sample resumes also I will share, as I told you, in the Telegram group. In the Telegram group. I'm going to share the sample resumes also. I gave the Telegram URL. Join in that. You will get the resume. You will get the resume. All right. Fine. Work experience. Is this work experience section clear for you? Is this work experience section clear for you? Shall I move on to the next section? Shall I move on to the next section? Yes, perfect. You got the clarity. What is a client company and what is a payroll company? Payroll company means from which company you are going to take the documents. That is your payroll company. Okay. Next one. The next section in our resume, education details and technical skills also you can keep. So first let me keep that educational details section. For experienced people, this is not that much important, guys. Educational details. Freshers, if you are preparing a resume as a fresher, freshers will keep all the details. SSC, intermediate, graduation. If you have post graduation, you can keep the post graduation information also. For experienced people, you need to keep only highest qualification. What is your highest qualification? Either BTech or MBA or MCA. What is your highest qualification? Highest qualification is sufficient. Freshers, SSC, intermediate, graduation, post graduation with percentages they are going to mention. That means how much score they got in their graduation. For freshers, they are going to keep like that. For experienced people, only highest qualification is sufficient. If you see my resume, what I mentioned here, I just mentioned BTech IT from JNTU Hyderabad. That's it. I'm not mentioning how much percentage I got. I'm not mentioning when I have completed that. That is not required for the company because I'm not a fresher. I'm an experienced person. For experienced people, the important thing is in which company you are working, how many years of experience you have, what are the technologies you know, what are the projects you have developed. That is important. For freshers, the educational qualification section, you no need to write all your 10th class marks, intermediate, when you completed, what you completed, which college, which school. That's not required for experienced people. For experienced people, just highest qualification. You see, I mentioned my highest qualification there. That's it. BTech IT from JNTU Hyderabad. That's it. For freshers, you can keep your table with all your SSC details, intermediate details, your graduation details, your post graduation details with the percentages. For freshers, you can keep like this. A table you can create and you can add the details. For experienced people, you can keep just highest qualification. You can keep just highest qualification like this. You can keep a highest qualification like this. And after this, sir, for experienced people, if you have below 60% also no problem. If you have the below 60% is also no problem. Experienced people percentages nobody will ask. For freshers, percentages are some companies are asking, not all. But for experienced people, percentages are not important. If you have below 60 also, no problem. If you have below 60 also, no problem for experienced people. If you have below 60 also, no problem for experienced people. Freshers, percentages you will mention in the resume. Experienced people, just the highest qualification. Note, For experienced people, percentages are not important. Below 6 are in my 10th class, I have below 60. In my intermediate, I have below 60. Am I eligible for this? Yes, 100%. No problem. Nobody will check. Nobody will check. Some companies, I hear that, I never worked with TCS, but I hear that TCS will check for throughout academics 60%. Infosys will check for throughout academics 60%. TCS, Infosys, those companies will ask minimum 60% in all the academics. Only those two companies are asking. Only those two companies are asking minimum 60% candidates throughout academics. Throughout academics. If you don't have that, if you don't have that, 60% throughout academics, do you need to cry? Do you need to cry? In Hyderabad, there are 5,000 companies available. 5,000 minus 2. 5,000 minus 2. How many companies are available for us? 5,000 minus 2. That's it. You need to apply that formula. 4,998 companies are there. If you have below 60, you just need to remove those two companies from your hit list. 4,998 companies are waiting for you. They are not going to check your percentage. So you no need to cry. You no need to cry if your percentage is less because you are not a fresher. For campus selections, percentage is important. For campus selections, for freshers, for campus selection, percentage is required. When you are going for fake experience, percentage is not important. Companies are not going to ask your percentage. Companies will ask, what is your skill? What do you know? How much experience you have? How much experience you have? They are going to check only that. They're going to check only that. Only TCS and Infosys companies are asking for 60%. Just to remove those two companies. Don't go for those two companies. Go for other companies. There are so many companies who are waiting for your services. Always think positive. Always think positive. You should be optimistic. Don't get into negative mindset. Be positive. You don't need to bother. You don't need to bother if you have less percentage. Academics. गलती तो हो गया. अभी कुछ change कर सकते क्या? Can you improve your percentage now if you cry? कुछ कर सकते? नहीं. You have less percentage in the intermediate or in the BTech or in the 10th class below 60. If you keep on thinking about it, can you change that percentage? Can we do something about that? No. Then why to worry? गलती तो already हो गया. We have to think आगे कैसे जाना. That's it. We have to think how to move forward. Already that is completed. That is past. It's already completed. You can't change that percentage now. You need to check for the companies who are not asking for that percentage. You need to improve your technical skills. You need to get the command and the subject. You need to learn the latest technologies. Companies are waiting. Companies are waiting for skilled people. When you go for interview, experience interview, nobody will check how much percentage you have in the BTech. They will check what technologies you have, how good you are in the problem solving, how good you are in the coding, how good you are in the development. If it is a DevOps people, how good you are in the DevOps tools, how good you are in the Docker and Kubernetes. Only that they are going to check. Nobody will check your experience. Percentages of your education. Okay. Chalo. Is this section clear? Is this education details section clear for you? Perfect. Next one, technical skills, guys. This is also important. Technical skills section that you need to write. What are the technologies that you know already as a developer or as a DevOps engineer? You have to prepare that. You see, coming to the technical skills, whatever I have mentioned here. Java technologies, distributed technologies, frameworks, databases, servers, IDE, operating systems, Apache Kafka, XML, testing, UI, and tools. What are the tools that we are aware, whatever the tools that we know, all those technical skills that I am keeping. Here also, whatever you know, you keep only those things. If you don't know, don't keep it. What you know in the Java, what are the technologies you know for the backend development? What are the technologies you know for the front end development? What are the frameworks that you know? What are the databases you know? What are the servers you know? What are the IDEs you know? What operating systems? What platforms that you know? XML testing tools. As a developer, you will work with some testing tools also, like JMeter, Selenium for performance testing and automation testing. UI technologies, whatever you know. Tools, what are the tools that you know? Those tools also you can mention. This is a technical skill set for developers. Suppose if we go for DevOps engineers, what are your technical skills? What are the operating systems you know? What are the services you know in the AWS cloud? What are the DevOps tools that you know? What are the things that you know in the Linux? What are the servers you know? What are the languages you know? What are the ticketing tools that you know? These are the technical skills for DevOps engineers. Operating system, Linux, it's mandatory for DevOps people. Cloud services in the AWS, DevOps tools like Maven, Git, Jenkins, Docker, Ansible, Terraform, Kubernetes, Linux operating system, servers, and languages. Languages means YML language we are going to use, and HCL language we will use for Terraform. YML we are using for Docker Compose and for Kubernetes. Ticketing tools, project management tools we are going to do by using Jira. These are your technical skills for DevOps people. AWS services, DevOps tools, servers, languages you are going to mention. For developers, technologies, backend technologies, front-end technologies we are going to mention, and the developers also will mention the tools. Maven, Git, Bitbucket, Log4j, JUnit, Mockito, Jira, Jenkins, SonarCube, Putty, WinSCP, Docker, Kubernetes. You can add those tools also as a developer. DevOps engineers, those tools are mandatory for you because DevOps engineer will work with only tools now. Good. Look at this. All right, guys, got the clarity now? Guys, did you get the clarity now? So when the developer keep Linux in the resume, they will ask the Linux commands. That means how to check the log files, from the Linux machine, how to deal with the file permissions, how to install softwares in the Linux machine, the Linux commands they are going to ask. In the last month, I conducted free course for Linux, 10 days. I explained the Linux commands. Those videos also available in the YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel, those Linux videos are already available. Any developers who are not aware of the Linux can go through our Linux course. See here, Linux, learn the Linux in simple way. 9 classes I have conducted on the Linux. Every class is 1.5 hours, 2 hours is there. Almost 15 hours we have spent in the 10 days of time to learn the Linux. 9 classes I have conducted on the Linux. So those videos are also available on the YouTube. See here, these are the Linux class videos. If you don't know the Linux as a developer, please go through those videos and learn the Linux. Linux is very, very important for you. For DevOps people, Linux we are covering in the class directly. For Java people, if you are not aware of Linux, please go through these videos. You will get good experience with Linux. That is very, very important for you. That is an advantage for you as a developer to work in the company. That is a advantage for you to work in the company. So please go through that. Please go through that. Okay. Technical skills. Now, so when it comes to the technical skills, Java people, you need to keep your backend technologies, whatever you know. Backend technologies you need to mention, and you need to mention your front-end technologies. You need to mention your front-end technologies. You need to mention databases. What are the databases you know? And you need to mention operating systems. What operating systems you are aware? I suggest you to learn the Linux. It is very important. And you need to mention some tools. As a Java developer, you need to keep your technical skills like this. Backend technologies, we are going with Java. We are going with Java, J2EE, Spring, Core, Spring Boot, and REST API, and microservices. These are important. Coming to front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Angular, or React, whatever you know, Angular or React. Databases, you can keep as Oracle, MySQL, MongoDB, H2, like this you can keep here. Operating systems, Windows. If you know Linux, then only add the Linux. Without knowing the Linux, if you keep it, they will ask questions on the Linux. Because as a developer, we need to work with Linux operating systems. As a developer, we are going to work with Linux operating systems. That is very important because in the company, our projects will be deployed on the Linux only, Windows and Linux. Tools, what are the tools that you know? Maven, Git, Jenkins, Log4j, Sonar, Nexus, JMeter, Docker, Kubernetes, etc. Like that, there are Kafka is available, Redis is available, Swagger is available, Postman is available, Lombok is available. So many tools. In our project, we are covering 20 plus real-time tools for the Java people. We are covering 20 plus real-time tools for the Java people in our course. All those tools you can mention, whatever the tools that you are used in your project. Maven, GitHub, Jenkins, Log4j, JUnit, Mocking, Jacoco, SonarCube, Nexus, JMeter, Docker, Kubernetes, Kafka, Redis, Swagger, Postman, Lombok, like this. So in our course, we are covering 20 tools. 80% of the DevOps tools are covering in our Java real-time project batch. 80% of the DevOps tools also covering in the Java real-time project batch. Right. Good. Here you can keep a Hibernate also. Java J2EE, Hibernate with JPA, that is for our DB communications. Hibernate with JPA, that is for ORM. That you can keep as your backend technologies. Front-end, Angular, React, you can keep. Databases, one SQL database, one NoSQL database you can keep. MongoDB. If you are not aware of MongoDB, we conducted workshop on the MongoDB as well. I have conducted a workshop on the MongoDB for 3 days. If you are not aware of the MongoDB, please go through that. Videos are already available in our channel. MongoDB here. I have conducted one workshop. Let me show that. Java people, if you are not aware of the MongoDB, please go through that. That is also important. It is a NoSQL database. Currently, in the industry, projects are using both SQL database as well as NoSQL database. Oracle MySQL comes under SQL database. MongoDB comes under NoSQL database. Yeah, Spring Boot with MongoDB tutorial. Here I have conducted classes, free classes for MongoDB. So 3 classes are there. 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 13 minutes, and 1 hour. Almost 3.5 hours, 4 hours we conducted class for MongoDB. What is MongoDB? How to work with MongoDB, and how to integrate Spring Boot with MongoDB, how to perform COD operations with MongoDB using Spring Boot. Those classes I covered. What is NoSQL database? What is a SQL database? All those things we have discussed in the MongoDB classes. If you are not aware of that, please go through the MongoDB classes. That is important nowadays. They're asking NoSQL database. Fine. Operating systems, Windows and Linux. Linux, please learn the Linux. As a developer, it is important. Tools. Without these tools, we are not going to develop the project in the companies. Every project will use some tools. Okay, the tools also you have to mention. Coming to DevOps with AWS people, what are the technical skills that you need to keep? Coming to the technical skills, first we are going to keep cloud services. We are going to keep AWS services, and we are going to keep DevOps tools, and we are going to keep operating systems. What operating systems we are aware, and we are going to keep languages. What are the languages that you know? Right. Coming to the AWS services, EC2 service, it's damn important. S3 buckets, EBS volumes, load balancer, auto scaling, route 53, VPC, CLI, AMI, and IAM, lambdas, like that. We are discussing almost 15 services in the AWS cloud, right? So those services names you need to mention. What are the services that you have used? What are the services you know? Those services you can keep here. CLI we kept, IAM, lambdas, beanstalk we are keeping, etc. The services that you know, if you know the service, then only mention that. DevOps tools, we are working with Maven. Almost 15 tools we are learning in the DevOps. 15 services we are learning in the AWS. 15 tools we are learning in the DevOps. Maven, Git, Jenkins, Sonar, Nexus, Tomcat, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, ELK, Grafana, Prometheus, like this. What are the tools that we are discussing in the DevOps? Those tools you can mention. Operating systems, you will know how to work with Windows, Linux. When it comes to the Linux flavors also you can mention. Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS, Amazon Linux, you can mention like this. Languages. So here we are going to use YML mainly. YML because Docker Compose YMLs we are going to write. Ansible playbooks also YMLs only, and Kubernetes manifest also YML only. YML format and HCL for Terraform, etc. If you know Python scripting languages, you can mention the Python script also if you know that. If you don't know, no need to mention that. So like this, you can mention your technical skills. Like this, you can mention your technical skills as a DevOps engineer, as a Java developer, you can mention your technical skills like this. Backend, frontend, database, operating systems, and tools. DevOps people, cloud services, operating systems, languages. And Java developers who are aware of cloud, you can mention those things also here. AWS cloud. You can mention what are the services you know. EC2, S3, RDS, load balancer, Route 53, VPC. If you are Java with DevOps guy, you can mention your AWS cloud resources also in your technical skills. Java with DevOps, you can mention the DevOps tools we are mentioning here already. AWS cloud services also you can mention here. Operating systems we are mentioning. Backend technologies, front-end technologies, databases, cloud, tools, and operating systems. You can keep like this. It is Java with cloud. Java with DevOps plus AWS. Java plus DevOps plus AWS resume will have technical skills like this. DevOps with AWS resume will have technical skills like this. As a Java developer, if you are not aware of AWS, remove this. If you are from our project batch, you can keep these things because in the project we are covering AWS cloud as well. We are covering AWS cloud as well in our project section. Got my point? Are you guys clear with this? Are you guys clear with this? EFS also we discussed, yeah. EFS, and you can mention that ECS, EKS also. Elastic Container Service, Elastic Kubernetes Service also you can add it. We are going to cover those also now. Clear for everyone? Technical skills section. Shall I move on to the next section? So what we have covered as of now, we covered already these 4 parts. Professional summary. What is your expertise? What is your experience that you are keeping as professional summary? Work experience, companies details you are going to mention. How many companies we need to keep, that also I covered. Educational details for freshers, for experienced people, this section will be different. Freshers will keep all their academics with percentages also. Experienced people will keep only highest qualification. Coming to technical skills, developers will keep front-end, back-end, database, DevOps tools, AWS, all these technical skills. And DevOps and AWS people will keep DevOps tools, AWS services, and languages that they know. So that is our technical skills section. Technical skills section. Perfect. Next one. Next one. The most important part is projects details. The most important section in the resume is project details. Now, people are getting confused here. Sir, what project I need to keep in the resume? How many projects I need to keep in the resume? What is the description I need to keep for the project? How many descriptions I need to keep? How many projects I need to keep? How many of you have this doubt? How many of you having this doubt? Come on, guys. How many of you having this doubt? How many projects I need to keep? How many of you having this doubt? How many projects I need to keep? How many of you having the doubt? How many projects we need to keep? Yeah, so many people are having this doubt. So many people are having this doubt. Okay. Guys, here we are going with 0 to 3 or 3.5 years experience, right? We are going with 0 to 3 or 3.5 years experience. Right. Fake people. 0 to 1 year experience you may keep, 2 years or 3 years or 3.5 years of experience you are keeping. Here, for 3.5 years of experience, one project is sufficient. You no need to keep 2 projects. It's not required, sir. 3 years, only one project is sufficient. To be frank, 5 years I have worked on 4.5 4 years, almost 4 years I worked on only one project in the company. 4 years I worked on only one project in the company. And my colleagues, I changed that company after that. After 4 years, I switched to another company. My colleagues, they are working on the same project from last 6.5 years. 6.5 years experienced person resume will have only one project because he worked on only one project. Sir, if I keep 2 years, I will not, I will, do I need to keep two projects? If I keep 3 years, do I need to keep three projects? That's not mandatory. That's not mandatory. It depends, right? So as I told you, my colleagues are working in the same company, same project from last 6.5 years. Now, if they want to change the company in the resume, 6 years means they need to keep six projects, huh? No, only one, because 6.5 years they worked on the same project, so they will keep only that one project in the resume. So you no need to think that 3 years means three projects, 4 years means four projects. That's not required. That's not required. Now, for Java people, what I suggest is, for Java people, 0 to 3.5 years experience. Java resources, Java. If you are from Java background, 3 to 3.5 years experience, for you, one project is sufficient. For you, one project is sufficient. If you are from DevOps background, for 3 to 3.5 years experience, you can keep two projects. Why? Because in the company, development team will work for only one project. As a developer, you will work for only one project. But a DevOps people will manage the infrastructure, build automation, pipelines for multiple projects at a time. So one DevOps team will manage multiple projects. One Java team will manage only one project. So development team will be working for only one project at a time, because development is complex. Development is complex. We need to understand the requirement. We need to do the designing. We need to do the coding. All that stuff we need to do. So Java people, 3 to 3.5 years, 0 to 3 years experience also, 0 to 3.5 years experience also. One project is sufficient for you people. One project is sufficient for you people. And coming to DevOps people, if you are keeping 3 to 3.5 years experience, I will suggest you to go with two projects. Two projects you can keep. Two projects you can keep. Two projects or three projects also you can keep as a DevOps engineer. Because in the company, one DevOps team will manage multiple projects parallelly. Infrastructure creation, CI/CD pipelines creation, issues resolving, pipelines monitoring, application monitoring, servers monitoring. They will handle multiple projects at a time. If it is a very large scale application like a banking application, then one project will have one dedicated DevOps team. That is a rare scenario. One DevOps team will work for only one project. That is a rare scenario. If the project is very huge, very complex, then only one DevOps team will handle one project. If the project is medium or small, then one DevOps team will handle multiple projects in the companies parallelly. One DevOps team will handle multiple projects parallelly. Development team will work for only one project. Testing team also will work for only one project. But the DevOps team will work for multiple projects parallelly. So developers will understand the requirement, will do the coding, will do the testing. They will work for only one project. But DevOps people, cloud people, DevOps with AWS people will not work for only one project at a time. They will work for multiple projects at a time. So company will assign like that. Company will assign like that. So in the company, there are 10 projects are available. They will take two DevOps teams. One DevOps team will handle first 5 projects. Another DevOps team will handle another 5 projects. Like that, they will decide. Are you guys getting my point? So how many projects we need to keep in the resume? How many projects we need to keep in the resume? You got the clarity now? If you are from the development background, one project is sufficient for you. For 2 years, DevOps people also can keep two projects, no problem, because two projects you are working parallelly. 2 to 3.5 years. 2 to 3.5 years. If you have DevOps experience 1 to 2 years, then you can keep only one project. If you are keeping 2 plus 2, 3.5 years experience, you can keep 2 projects. Now again, if you are keeping 3 companies, then every company different project. Na? If you keep 3 companies, then you have to keep 3 projects. Yeah, don't forget that formula. If you keep 3 companies in the work experience, and if I keep 2 projects, how one project you will do in the 2 companies? Logically think about it. Here, if you observe in the work experience, if you keep 3 companies, I'm keeping 3 companies here. Then how many projects I need to keep in my resume? If I keep 3 companies experience here, how many projects minimum I have to keep? 3, because in every company you will work on one project. Na? Are you guys getting this logic? Are you guys getting this logic? If you keep 2 companies, then minimum you have to keep 2 projects. If you keep 3 companies, the minimum you need to keep 3 projects. If you keep 1 company, then you can take a decision like this. For Java people, it's up to you guys. If you keep 1 project, that is also sufficient. If you want to keep 2 projects, that is also fine. If you have 1 to 2 years experience, you can keep 1 project. It's up to you. 2 plus 2, 3 years, or 3.5 years. 2 plus 2, 2 to 3, 3.5, 2 to 3, 3.5 years experience. Either 1 or 2. 1 or 2. It depends on you how you want to manage that. I will give you resume. In my resume, 4 or 5 projects are available. You can keep the description. You can take the description and you can keep it. How many projects that we need to keep? 1 to 2 years means 1 project. 2 plus 2, 3.5 years means 2 projects. For 3.5 years, 1 project is also fine. No problem. For 3.5 years also, 1 project is fine for the Java people. Because as a developer, you will work on the development. Development will take long time. Na? There are projects who are taking 5 years, 6 years of time also for development. Development plus maintenance. Development plus maintenance will be there. And for DevOps people, if you have 1 to 2 years experience, you are keeping, then 1 project fine for you. If you are having more than 2 years experience, if you are keeping 2 plus 2, 3.5 years, then you can go for 2 projects. Somnath, I will remove you from the Zoom. If you are keep on sending the same message again and again, I will remove you from the Zoom. You are sending the same message, copy paste. Please behave yourself. Good. Guys, you understand? You understand how many projects we need to keep in the resume? Please respond. Good. Fine. Next one. Sir, when we are keeping a project description and roles and responsibilities are important. So now see here, I kept my 1 project. I kept one of the project. So this project I kept as a credit servicing layer. This is always we are going to keep the latest project on the top. Always we are going to keep the latest project on the top, right? So what is this project? Project name, duration. That means from when you started working on that project, you will mention that the duration and environment. So that project is developed by using which technologies and what is the industry, that is what is the domain of that project, and what is your role in the project. In that project, my role was technical lead. If you are a team member, then you can mention as a team member. So like this, we are going to keep the project data, project name, project duration, project environment, industry, and role we are going to mention. Name I am mentioning as credit servicing layer. So basically, I am working on this project. I'm working on this project in my current company, is the same project I'm working on. In my project, credit service functionality is available. So it is credit card system. My company is a banking company. I'm working for credit servicing layer. That means the people who apply for a credit card, my project will check the credit card eligibility for the citizen, credit card bill generation, credit card statement generation, due reminders, credit card management. In my bank, I'm working on credit card management. So the same project I mentioned here. Project name is credit servicing layer. The duration, from which year we have started working on that. What is the environment? That means what are the technologies we are using to do that? And what is my role in the project? My role is a technical lead in that project that I have mentioned here. And what is the description? Very short description. The main objective of the CSL is to determine eligibility of a customer credit card application. As part of this application, we are interacting with several third-party REST APIs to get required information for the customer, required information of the customer to check the customer eligibility. So you can mention same thing like this. Description, credit servicing layer, and the description. What is the credit card servicing layer? That means bank credit cards functionality. So people will apply for new credit cards. People will apply to renewal their credit card. Credit card bill will be generated. Statement will be generated. People will use the credit card. People will not pay the credit card bill amount. Interest calculation will be there. And once the people complete their credit card bill payment, sending the success message for them. If the people are not paying the bill, sending the reminders for them, generating the reports, how many credit cards are applied by the citizens, how many people got approved, how many people got denied, how many people did not pay credit card bill amount on time, interest calculation. Okay, from our bank credit cards, how much limit used, and people are sending a request for updating their credit limit. So all that functionality is there as part of our project. Credit servicing layer, credit card, complete credit card management is there. You can keep this. Now, once it is done, once we are going to mention this here, I'm keeping the responsibilities involved in the gathering of the requirements, analysis, design, development, attending Scrum calls, Agile methodology, participating in the sprint planning sessions and retrospective meetings in the project. Project we are developing on Agile methodology. So daily Scrum call will be available. Bi-weekly sprint planning sessions will be available. Bi-monthly retrospective meetings will be available. This project we are developing by using entire architecture with database connectivity, developed MVC components, and batch jobs I have created, controller classes I have created, involved in the code review using SonarQube, and involved in the front-end development using Angular, front-end development using Angular, involved in the unit testing and integration testing, code review. So what are your responsibilities are there? What you are doing in the company? What you are doing in your current company? Those things you can mention as your responsibilities. Roles and responsibilities. In the interview also, they will ask you, what are your roles and responsibilities? You can say these things. My roles are gathering the requirements from the functional people, analyzing the requirements, designing the requirements, attending the Scrum calls daily to give the work updates, participate in the sprint planning session, participating in the retrospective, and participating in the development, front-end development, back-end development, database design, code review, code integration, testing, unit testing, support, all these things. So like this, we are going to mention responsibilities. These are the responsibilities of the developer. Can you read it? Can you read it? Responsibilities of the developer. Project, you can keep this project also, no problem. Instead of keeping the credit servicing layer, you can keep it as credit card management system, CMS. Just you can keep multiple names now. You can keep it as a CMS, credit card management system, something like this. You can change the name. I kept it as CSL, you can change it as CMS. I will share this description also. I will share this description. Got it? Responsibilities of the developers. Responsibilities of the developers. So now for Java people, we will keep the project name, duration, environment, domain, your role. What is your role? So project name, duration from when you have started working on the project technologies, environment, nothing but technologies. What are the technologies are used to develop that project? What is that domain? My domain is banking domain. What is your role? So you have 3 years experience now. For 3 years, you will become a team member. You are team member. You are just part of the team. If you have more experience, then you will become lead or manager, something like that. Role will be changing. Okay, team member role. Duration. So from which year to which year you are working. For example, if you have 3 years experience, then you will say that from November 2019 to till date. That means currently you are working for this project. Project name CMS, credit card management system. Credit card management system. Role team member. Project description. You will mention description. I have given in the resume. I will share that. And roles and responsibilities. So roles and responsibilities are very important, guys. What are the roles and responsibilities? What are the roles will be available for developers? Gathering requirements from functional team. You cannot communicate with the client directly. In the project, functional team will be available. Functional team will give you the requirements, gather requirements from functional team. Then analyze the requirements. You have to analyze requirements. Design. So what do you need to do? Design. You need to do the design. That is components design, or you can make it as a DB design. Once your requirement analysis is completed, you need to analyze DB design. That means what are the tables we need to create? What are the columns, relationships? All these things you need to analyze. Database design. Then development. That means backend APIs development. Backend APIs development. Code integration. Code review. Unit testing. Bug fixing. Also you have to do. Front-end development. Backend plus front-end integration. Deployment. DevOps people will create the Jenkins pipeline. As a developer, you will have the access for Jenkins to run the job. Login into the non-prod Jenkins servers and run the jobs to deploy the code into dev environment for your integration testing. As a developer, you are responsible to gather requirements from the functional team. So what is the requirement of the API? You are going for microservices development. What is the requirement? Which API we need to develop? You need to gather the requirements from the functional team. You need to analyze the requirements. You need to do the database design. You need to do backend APIs development. REST APIs we are going to develop. Code integration. So in the project, multiple team members will be available. Code integration in the GitHub. Repository will be available. In that repository, we need to perform the integration. My code will be there on the GitHub. Your code also should be there on the GitHub. Properly, we need to integrate the code without any problems, without any conflicts. Code review. As a developer, you need to review your code by using SonarQube. If any mistakes are there in the code, you need to fix those problems. Sonar issues you have to fix. Unit testing will be there. Whatever the code you write, for that code you need to perform unit testing with the coverage. With the coverage, code coverage minimum 80% is the industry requirement. Code coverage. That means how many lines of code is tested in the unit testing. You need to generate a report for that. Jacoco coverage report will come. Coverage report will tell you which lines of code is unit tested, which lines of code is not tested. Minimum 80% of the code should be tested as part of unit testing. Unit testing you need to implement by using JUnit. And when your code is tested, if any bugs occur, then you need to fix the bugs. When the code move to testing environment, testers will identify the bugs. You need to fix the bugs. As a developer, you are responsible for the bug fixing, gathering the requirements from the functional team, analyzing the requirements, database design, backend API development, code integration in the GitHub, code review using Sonar, code review using Sonar, unit testing with JUnit, unit testing with coverage, JUnit plus Mockito plus Jacoco. These are the tools we are going to use. JUnit plus Mockito plus Jacoco. Bug fixing we need to perform. Whenever you write the code, 100% code will not work as expected first time. Some issues will occur. As a developer, you are responsible to fix those issues. Front-end development you have to do. Now companies are looking for full stack. That means back-end, front-end, one person has to do. And you need to take care of the integration. You need to take care of the deployments. Deployments you need to do. And you need to provide the support. So if any issue comes in the future on your functionality, then you are responsible to fix that. So these are the roles and responsibilities of the developer. You need to keep this in the project only. So you see, when I keep a project, in the project, I'm keeping the same roles and responsibilities. Getting my point? And in the interview also, they will ask the first question. Tell me about yourself and tell me about your project. Tell me your roles and responsibilities. You need to tell these things only. If anybody asks me, hey Ashok, what are your roles and responsibilities? Hi, I'm working for CSL project. As part of this project, I will involve in the requirements gathering from my functional team. Once I got the requirements, I will analyze my requirements. If any doubts are there, I will communicate with my functional team to get the clarifications. Once I got the complete clarity on the requirements, then I will go for database design. I will identify for my development what are the tables required, what are the columns required, what primary keys, what foreign keys, what relationships. I will identify that and I will do the database design. Once my database design is completed, then I will go for my backend API development. Once API development is completed, I will test my API by using Postman with sample data. If my API functionality is working as expected, then I will push my code into GitHub repository. I will make sure there are no conflicts with the other developers' code when I am pushing my code. Once my coding is completed, I will check my code quality by using SonarQube. If my code having some Sonar issues, I will fix those Sonar issues and I will integrate my code. Then I will do unit testing for my code because I want to check all the lines of code I have implemented working as expected or not. I will do that testing and I will check the coverage also. I don't want to miss any lines of code in the unit testing. That's why I will generate a coverage report for my code. If any issue occurs in my code, I will fix that. Once my API is completely completed, then I will start my front-end development. Once my front-end development completed, I will integrate my backend with the front-end. I will make sure my integration testing is a success. If once everything is done, then I will run the Jenkins job to deploy my code into dev environment for one more round of testing. In future, if any tester identify the bug in the code, I will support for fixing those bugs. And as along with these things, I will be involved in the daily Scrum calls for giving my work updates, and bi-weekly we are going to conduct the sprint planning sessions. I'm going to participate in the sprint planning session and I will participate in the retrospective for understanding how we have done our work in the last sprint. So these are my regular activities I'm doing in my company. Will that person satisfies? Will that person satisfy if I explain all these things are my roles and responsibilities? 100%, because that is what we are going to do. So many people are not able to answer what are your roles and responsibilities question. In my company, I am the interview panel member. Last week also I have taken the interview. Java developer came for the interview with 3.5 years experience. I asked this question: what are your roles and responsibilities? So 90% of the fake people giving the answer: writing the code is my responsibility. What is writing the code? You are not just writing the code. You are not just writing the code. In order to write the code, your coding to be done. But before going to do the code, you need to do all these things. You have to participate in the meetings. You have to understand the requirement. You have to design that. You have to do the database design, coding, testing, integration, code review, deployment. So many things are there. 3 years experience people came with the fake experience. I understood. I asked a question: what is your role? What are your roles and responsibilities? He told that I'm a Java developer. Writing the Java code is my responsibility. That means he's from Amirpet. Straightforward. Writing the Java code is responsibility. Yeah. How you will write the Java code without understanding the requirement, without having the database design? How you will write the code? How you will get the requirement first of all? Who will give you the requirement? Who will ask your work status? What work you are going to do? Where is the planning? Where is the deployment? Where is the review? Where is the integration? You need to be very careful. You are going to keep the fake experience doing a mistake. That mistake you have to do perfectly. Nobody should catch you. Nobody should catch you. In our JRTP people, in our project course, are we understanding the requirements? Are we analyzing the requirements? Are we doing the database design? Are we doing the backend development? Are we following the same approach? In the real-time project course, I'm not writing the code directly in the real-time project. First, I'm giving the requirement for you. I'm explaining the requirement for you. I'm asking you to analyze that. I'm asking you to come up with the doubts. I'm asking you to the database design. Then I'm asking you to design the components. Then I'm asking you to develop, test it. Whatever we are doing in the JRTP, same thing we will follow in the company. JRTP course is my experience. How I am working in the company, same thing I'm explaining in the project course. That is very special. In the company also, you will do the same thing. These are the things you are going to do as a developer. Not only you, every developer will do the same thing in the companies. You check with your friends who are working in the companies. Are you doing all these things in the company? 100% yes. I'm also doing the same thing in my company now. These are the roles and responsibilities of the developers. Once your experience is increasing, you will become a lead. Once you become the lead, you need to conduct these meetings. You need to talk to the people. You need to talk to the people. You need to manage the team. That roles and responsibilities come into the picture. And for the people who have some doubts on project round interview questions, in our channel, I have uploaded 85 interview questions for the project manager round. What kind of questions they will ask in the project manager round? Roles and responsibilities, explain the project. What is the complex scenario you have faced in your project? What is the challenging thing that you have handled in the project? So see here, I have uploaded a video on that. Project manager round interview questions and answers. 85 questions I have uploaded 2 years back. 2 years back, I have uploaded 85 project manager round interview questions and answers for the Java developers. If you go to this video YouTube play in our channel playlist, you can find these videos. Project manager round interview questions and answers. 85 questions I have explained in 6 parts. In 6 videos, I have explained 85 questions. Top 85 frequently asked interview questions. If I am taking interview, I will also ask the same questions. Got it? Developers, are you clear with your roles and responsibilities? Are you clear with your roles and responsibilities? You need to keep these things in the resume, as well as you need to explain the same thing in the interview also. You need to keep these things in the resume, and you need to explain same thing in the interview also. Interviewer will ask you, what are your roles and responsibilities? Same points you have to explain. Okay, guys. Next one. DevOps people also can keep the same project. I'm giving the 5 projects in the resume. You can keep any one project, any 2 projects you can keep. Now coming to roles and responsibilities of the DevOps engineers. What are the roles and responsibilities of the DevOps engineers? What are the roles and responsibilities of the DevOps engineer? Understanding project infrastructure requirement. DevOps engineers will not understand project requirement. DevOps engineers will understand project infrastructure requirement. That means how many servers are required, how many environments are required, how many environments, prod, non-prod, how many non-prod environments are required, prod environment requirement, non-prod environment requirement. So how many servers we need to keep in the non-prod? How many non-prod environments are required? How many prod environments are required? Prod environment, non-prod environment. Understanding the infrastructure requirements, creating the infrastructure, non-prod and prod. To run our applications in the non-prod and prod environment, infrastructure creation should be done by DevOps engineers in the cloud. Okay, monitoring the infrastructure. Once we create the infrastructure, you are responsible to monitor that infrastructure, how your servers are running, monitoring the infrastructure, creating the pipelines, creating CI/CD pipelines, or else you can say creating Git repositories. DevOps engineers will do Git repositories, creating Git repositories and managing permissions. For every developer, we don't give read and write access. If there are any freshers, for them we will give only read access. DevOps engineers only will create the Git repository and will managing user permissions for the repositories. Got it? Understanding project infrastructure requirement is DevOps engineer responsibility. Understanding how many non-prod environments. Non-prod environments means dev environment, sit environment, U8 environment will be available. Prod environment, nothing but live environment will be available. So what servers we need to use in the prod environment, what servers we need to use in the non-prod environment, we need to understand that requirement. Project architect will give the details. In the non-prod, what servers we need to use. In the prod, simple example, I want to create a virtual machine. In the AWS, we are using T2 micro, but in the real time, T2 micro is not sufficient. We need to go for large instances. So which instances we need to, which type of EC2 instances we need to use? Do we need to go for T2 medium or MX large instances that we need to use? That requirement you need to understand first. Infrastructure requirement for non-prod and for prod. For prod environment, high-end systems will be available. Load balancers, auto scaling group, all the infrastructure we need to understand first. Then once you got the clarity on the infrastructure, then you are responsible for creating the infrastructure, creating cloud infrastructure, creating cloud infrastructure for non-prod and prod, for non-prod and prod environments. That means prod servers, non-prod servers, prod database, non-prod database, okay, prod cluster, non-prod cluster. So like that, you need to create that infrastructure. Once infrastructure is created, we need to monitor that infrastructure. That means CloudWatch alarms we are going to use to monitor how our resources are working. Are there any issue with our cloud infrastructure that we need to monitor? And for the project, we need to create the Git repositories. Microservices project means for every API, one repository will be available. We need to create the Git repositories and we need to manage user permissions for those repositories. So which user can access which repository, which users can perform operations on the repository, which user should have read and write access, which user should have only read access. That permissions also we are going to manage for the repositories as a DevOps engineer. And we are responsible to create CI/CD pipelines, create CI/CD pipelines for build and deployment automation, for build and deployment automation. This is also our responsibility. And creating remote repositories. Creating remote repository for shared libraries. We are using Nexus as a remote repository for the shared libraries. Some companies will use JFrog as a shared library repository. Storing the build artifacts and storing the shared libraries in the Nexus repository. So that shared library creation also should done by DevOps engineer. Understanding the project infrastructure, creating the infrastructure in the cloud for non-prod and prod, monitoring the infrastructure, creating the Git repositories, managing user permissions for the repositories, creating CI/CD pipelines for build and deployment automation, create remote repositories for shared libraries, then monitor CI/CD pipeline. When the CI/CD pipelines are running, there is a chance of getting some issues. We need to monitor CI/CD Jenkins pipelines. Monitor CI/CD pipelines. Prod pipeline will be available. Non-prod pipeline will be available. Create remote repository for shared libraries in the Nexus. We need to do that. And we are going to create the Docker files for Dockerization. Create a Docker file for Dockerizing our applications. Set up a Kubernetes cluster. Non-prod cluster will be separate and prod cluster will be separate. Kubernetes clusters will be available. Writing Kubernetes manifest YMLs. Writing Kubernetes manifest YMLs also your responsibility. Monitoring application and application servers. Application and servers monitoring. Application and servers monitoring. For you also, Scrum call will be available. For you also, sprint planning will be available. For you also, retrospective will be available. Scrum call, daily status calls will be available. What are you working today? What you have done yesterday? Are you facing any challenges in your daily work? That update you need to give to Scrum Master in the Scrum call. So I will explain Agile methodology with this process. Scrum call, sprint planning, retrospective, all these details. Agile methodology, we conducted a workshop. What is Agile methodology? What is a Scrum? What is a sprint? Agile methodology, Ashok IT. Last month I conducted a workshop on the Agile methodology for 1 hour 40 minutes. What is Agile? What is this Agile methodology? Okay, so in this Agile methodology video, I have given the clear information. What is waterfall methodology? What is Agile methodology? What is the sprint? What is the retrospective? All the information I have provided here. So many useful resources available in our YouTube channel, guys. If you go through this, then you will get more clarity. Here you see I explained what is the sprint, what is the Scrum, what is retrospective, who is product owner, what is Scrum Master, who is a Scrum Master, who is a tech lead, who is a team member. I have given all this information in the workshop. In the last month, I have conducted this workshop. That video is there in the YouTube. So for DevOps people and for developers also, Agile methodology is very important. So as a DevOps engineer, these are your roles and responsibilities. Understanding infrastructure requirement, creating the infrastructure, monitoring the infrastructure, creating the repositories and managing the permissions, creating the CI/CD pipelines, monitoring the CI/CD pipeline, create remote repository, create the Docker files for Dockerization, setting the Kubernetes cluster in the non-prod and prod, writing the Kubernetes manifest file, applications and servers monitoring, Scrum call for work status, sprint planning for the work planning, retrospective for the review meetings. You need to do this. So these are the responsibilities you need to keep as a DevOps engineer. These are the responsibilities you need to keep as a developer. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Now, in the interview, they will ask you for the DevOps people, could you please tell me in which project you are working on? What are your roles and responsibilities? And remember once again, for developers, project functionality is important. what are the modules available in the project, what screens available in the project, what is the project architecture, what are the screens, what is the technical flow, what is the functional flow. That is important for the developers. For a DevOps people, project functionality not important. For a DevOps people, infrastructure is important. Infrastructure is important for the DevOps people. Good. So if somebody asks you, what are your roles and responsibilities? I will tell that. Hi, my name is Ashok. I'm having 8 years experience as a DevOps with AWS Cloud. Currently, I'm working for CMS project, which is credit card management system. So this project is used to provide the credit cards for the citizens who apply for the cards in our bank. My system will check the eligibility of the person for the card. And to provide the credit card, we are going to interact with a lot of third-party applications to check the citizen CIBIL scores and all. If our conditions are satisfied with the citizen data, then only he will get the card from our bank, then along with the credit limit. So, and our application will manage that credit card statement generation, credit card bill generation, due reminders, statements, reports, and all. I'm working as a DevOps with AWS Cloud Engineer for this project. In this project, my roles and responsibilities are understanding the infrastructure requirements. That means how many non-prod environments we need to maintain, what kind of servers we need to create in the non-prod, and prod environment requirement understanding, what kind of machines we need to use in the prod, how to do the load balancing, auto scaling in the prod. And I'm going to create the cloud infrastructure by using Terraform templates for non-prod as well as for prod. We have created Terraform templates. So any changes are required in the template, I am responsible to do that change in the Terraform script, and I will create the infrastructure. Once infrastructure is created, I'm even responsible for monitoring also. If any issue occurs in my infrastructure, I am responsible to fix that. And in my project, we are using microservices. So whenever the new microservice comes, I'm going to create the Git repository for that project, and I will give the permissions for the development team for the code integration, and I will manage the user permissions also in the Git repository, and I will create CI/CD pipelines for all the environments in the project. We have several environments like dev environment, sit environment, UAT environment, pre-prod environment, prod environment. I will create the pipelines for them by using Jenkins declarative CI/CD approach. So I will monitor the pipeline also. If any issue occurs, I will resolve that issue by looking the logs. And for our company, for our project, we are managing a remote repository for the shared libraries. So we are using Nexus as a remote repository. The developers' common libraries we are storing in the Nexus and giving the permissions for the development team. And I'm writing the Docker files to Dockerize my applications. We are using containerization concept to run our microservices. I'm having good experience with Docker Compose and all. I will write the Docker Compose YML, and I will write the Docker file to Dockerize. The Docker images we are storing in the AWS ECR registry, Docker registry we are using for that. And we are running our containers on the Kubernetes cluster. I will set up the Kubernetes. I am responsible to set up Kubernetes clusters in the non-prod and the prod environment. And we are using EKS cluster provided by AWS. And on that cluster, we are going to deploy our applications. To deploy the applications, I'm writing Kubernetes manifest file. So I will deploy the code into non-prod environment as well as in the prod environment. When the code is deploying to the production environment, there will be a release call. I will drive the release call, and I will release the code into production. And I will make sure that all the checklist is completed before releasing the code to the production. When the code I'm deploying to the production, I will follow blue-green deployment. With zero downtime, I can deploy the latest code into the production. We are having two identical environments. And in our project, we are following Agile methodology. Daily, our Scrum call will be available with the Scrum Master. I will give my work updates to the Scrum Master. If I stuck up with some issue, if I am facing some issue, I will inform to Scrum Master. I will take the help from the Scrum Master. I will take help from my team members if I am stuck in some issue, and I will join in the sprint planning for the work activities, and I will join in the retrospective for the feedbacks. These are my roles and responsibilities in my project. And I am working for two projects parallelly. Our DevOps team is managing two projects parallelly. One is credit card management system. Another one is the loans application. For both applications, we are one DevOps team. Then, if you explain this, will he satisfy? Huh. Did you observe the confidence in my voice when I'm explaining that? Did you observe the confidence in my voice? Those people will those people will think to ask the question by seeing my confidence. By seeing my confidence, by seeing the bass in my voice, they need to think to ask the question. You need to show that expertise in the interview. Then you can crack every interview. Most of the people are not able to explain roles and responsibilities properly. Roles and responsibilities means what you are doing daily. Roles and responsibilities means what you are doing daily. Same thing you need to tell with confidence. Then that person will believe that you are genuine experience. If you are not able to explain the roles and responsibilities, matlab you are fake. That confidence should be there in your voice. Your voice should give the indication to that guy you are genuine. See here, I'm able to explain the roles and responsibilities for the Java developers, and I'm able to explain the roles and responsibilities for the DevOps people with the same confidence. You need to practice this, how to explain the project, how to explain the roles and responsibilities. Confidence matters a lot. Yes, Gauri, you are right. Whether you are going to get selected in the interview or not, that depends upon how you are answering. How you are answering. How your voice is there in that process. How you are that I mean, when I'm explaining, can you feel that confidence in my voice? Can you feel that this guy is having a lot of command on the subject? That you need to show in the interview. That comes based on the practice. Based on the practice. If a genuine person attend the interview, he will answer like this. Not only me, every working person will answer like this because he has experience with that. He is doing the same thing. From 9 years, we are doing the same thing. From 9 years, we are doing the same thing. That's the reason I'm able to explain properly. That you should also explain like that. And when it comes to roles and responsibilities, developer roles and responsibilities, DevOps people roles and responsibilities are different. Developers will focus on the development areas, front-end development, back-end development, integrations, code reviews, and all. So here, DevOps people will focus mostly on the infrastructure creation, pipeline creation, repositories creation, permissions, monitoring, managing. All that stuff will be there for DevOps people. Okay, so in the resume, you can mention the same thing when it comes to the DevOps resume also. What are the things that you have done? What are your work, the projects? So in the DevOps resume also, I have given the project. And here, I have not given the description for the project for the DevOps. I will add that as well. And these are the responsibilities, what you have done as a DevOps engineer for 2 projects that you can keep it. I will share this. I can share this. Got it. So with this, we got the clarity on project details section in the resume. So Java people, how many projects you need to keep and what information you need to keep in the project. And the DevOps people, I suggest you to keep 2 projects, guys, because DevOps team will work on multiple projects in the companies parallelly. So in my company, uh, we are working for a prod-based company. So some of the DevOps roles also we are doing as a developers. That's why I got that much grip on the DevOps and AWS. In my project, we are individual contributors. Developers also will manage the infrastructures in the non-prod. For the prod, separate team is available. For prod, separate team is available. 4 years back when I joined in the company, initially as a developer, we are just responsible for that. But from the last 1.5 years, some of the DevOps responsibilities also they assign to the dev team. Jenkins pipelines we have to create, GitHub repositories we have to create, Sonar servers setup we have to do, Nexus repositories we have to set up, Docker files we have to write, Kubernetes manifest files we have to write. My project also having a DevOps team only for the production. Only production release will done by my DevOps team. My DevOps team is managing multiple projects in the same company. They are doing parallelly. We are from the development. I'm from the development team. Development plus DevOps. Currently, my role is developer plus DevOps there. We are doing the coding and we are managing the infrastructure in the non-prod dev sit UAT. Dev sit we are doing. UAT is separate team. The release team is available for UAT and pre-production. So same thing. And in the release team, they are DevOps people. They are going to release the project to the production. In every release call, we will join. So monthly one release will happen for my project. Some updates will be deployed to the production. That time we will also join in the release call. So developers also will participate in the release call. Developers also will participate in the release calls when the code is deploying into the production environments. In the resume, we don't mention the packages. In the resume, we don't mention that. Yeah. Fine. So once this project section, project names, descriptions, project responsibilities, once these are completed, then the final part will be declaration. Just your name, you are going to mention that. So this is used to declare that all the above information I have given is correct as per my knowledge. So your name you are going to mention and place date. This declaration section you can keep. So you no need to mention for experienced people. You no need to mention what are your hobbies. What are your hobbies? Whether you are married or single. What is your address? That is not required for experienced people. Okay, just a declaration I will keep like this. I hereby declare that all of the details furnished above are true on the best of my knowledge and belief. So my name, that's it. You no need to mention your name, your surname, your father name, your village, your address, your marital status, your hobbies, your strength, your weakness. That's not required for experienced resumes. Date of birth and all also not required to mention. Not required. कौन पूछेगा कंपनी को why company need that details. Why company need your details? Company needs your experience, है ना? Got it. Perfect. So with this, we understood the complete structure of the resume, guys. So development resume as well as DevOps resume also. So anybody who is having both development for DevOps, then in the project responsibilities, you can add those points. And in the technical skills also, you can add these points. Tools, we are already adding the DevOps tools and we are adding the cloud services also. So if you have the knowledge on Java plus DevOps, only DevOps means services tools we are going to add, and the project description, project roles and responsibilities, project name, description, duration, these things, everything is common for developers and DevOps also. The roles and responsibilities will be different from the roles and responsibilities will be different for developers and DevOps people. For developers, these roles and responsibilities will be available. For DevOps engineers, these roles and responsibilities will be available. ठीक है? Good. Now, perfect, guys. Next one. Next one. In the companies, whenever you upload your profile in the Naukri, so you are going to prepare a resume. I will share this resume. So you edit the details. I will give the sample resumes, 2 to 3 resumes for Java as well as for DevOps with AWS. I will share these resumes. So you change the details, whatever the things that you don't know, you remove from that. So you don't use my resume as it is. It is very high level. Whatever the concept you don't know here, you remove that and prepare your resume. And whenever you are sending a resume or when you are uploading your resume, upload that as a PDF. Don't upload it as a Word file, because in your system you are using one version of Microsoft Windows, MS Office. Their laptop or their computer may use a different version of MS Office. So alignment will get disturbed if you send this Word documents of resumes. So always recommended to create a PDF to share the resume. Right. So now I suggest you take a new mail ID and take a new mobile number for your resume. Once this resume preparation is completed, I have explained you what are the sections you need to mention in the resume and what points you need to mention in the resume. So resume structure, mainly these 6 sections are available. One is a professional summary. Second one is work experience. Third one is educational details. Fourth one is the technical skills. Fifth one is projects with the description, roles and responsibilities, and the declaration part is available. In the professional summary, your work experiences you are going to mention. This is the professional summary for Java developers, and this is the professional summary for DevOps with AWS. Coming to work experience, how many years of experience gap you have, how to cover that also. I have given some scenarios. And which company we need to mention. I suggest you to keep the client company. When they ask, then you can reveal your parent company. Your parent company will give the documents for you. Consultancies will give the documents for you. Education details for freshers, all the academic details you can mention, and experienced people, highest qualification you can mention. That is sufficient. You no need to mention the branch also. BTech civil mechanical, that also not required. You can just say that BTech graduation completed in the 2019 or 2020, whatever it is, from which university, from which college, you can mention that. For experienced people, percentages are not important. Technical skills, Java people, Java with DevOps you can keep like this. Only DevOps people can keep like this. Java people who don't know AWS, you can remove this line from here. If you are from Java with AWS background, you can keep this line also. Project details. So how many projects we need to keep? For developers, for 3 years, one project is sufficient. For DevOps people, you can keep 2 projects, because one DevOps team will work with multiple projects parallelly in the companies. Will work with multiple projects parallelly in the companies. So when you are keeping a project, you need to keep the name of the project, how many years onwards you are working on that project, what is your environment, that means which technologies are used in that project, what is the domain of the project, what is your role in the project, and your project description. In the resume, I have given the description. And you need to mention roles and responsibilities of your roles and responsibilities in the project. For developers, these roles and responsibilities will be available. For DevOps people, these roles and responsibilities will be available. So once you prepare this resume, create this resume as a PDF to share to the companies, to share to the HRs, and to upload in the job portals. Okay, guys. Perfect. Next one. Once you prepare this resume, go to Naukri. Go to Naukri. In the Naukri, you can create the profile. In the Naukri, you can create the profile. Whenever you create the profile in the Naukri, you can check your details. So that means your name, your experience, your mobile number, your email ID, and your resume. Here the resume is available. The resume will be uploaded as a PDF document. If you want, you can change it. Resume headlines you can keep. Resume headline you can keep. DevOps engineer with 3.5 years experience in build deployment using cloud infrastructure in the Agile methodology. If you are from the Java background, having 3+ years of experience as a Java full stack developer with Spring Boot, microservices, and Angular. So let me give you that. DevOps resume headline is this. DevOps resume headline. Okay. If you are from Java background, Java resume headline. Java resume headline. Java full stack developer. Java full stack developer with 3+ years of experience in application development using Spring Boot and microservices. Java full stack developer with 3+ years of experience in application development using Spring Boot and microservices. And for DevOps people, DevOps engineer with 3.4 years of experience in build and deployment using AWS cloud infrastructure in the Agile methodology. You can keep this as your resume headline. Now here, key skills are very important, guys. So your resume will be shortlisted. Your resume will be shortlisted based on the key skills that you are adding here. You can edit this, whatever the key skills that you have, you can add those key skills here. What are the technologies that you know? What are the technologies that you know? Those key skills you need to add. So Java people will add the key skills of Java, Spring Boot, microservices, REST API, Docker, Kubernetes, like that. DevOps people will add the key skills as tools: Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, EC2, Bitbucket, AWS, SonarQube, Server, Docker, Tomcat, Maven, DevOps, Terraform, Jira, Nexus, continuous delivery, continuous integration. Like that, you can add the key skills. Java people, your Java technologies you can add as a key skill. Okay, so Java people key skills will be Java, J2EE, Spring Core, Spring MVC, Spring Boot, REST API, microservices, Spring Security, Jenkins, Docker, JUnit, Oracle database, Oracle or MySQL, whatever the database you know. So these key skills you can add, and add the Kafka also. If you add the Kafka, more calls you will get. Kafka is having lot of demand. Java key skills: Java, J2EE, Spring Core, Spring MVC, Spring Boot, REST API, microservices, security, Kafka, Jenkins, Docker, JUnit, Oracle. So these key skills you can add as a Java developer. Coming to DevOps key skills, you can add Git, Maven, Jenkins, SonarQube, Nexus, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, pipelines, EC2, S3, VPC, IAM, Lambdas, etc. So that means what are the tools that we are using? Those are tools you will add as a key skill. So here we are using Naukri. Naukri we are using to upload our resume. This is our user portal. Companies will purchase the Naukri license, guys. Companies will purchase the Naukri license to download our resumes. Here we are uploading our resume, right? So you can upload your resume. I can upload my resume. Companies will pay the money for the Naukri. Monthly 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, they will pay for the Naukri. Because Naukri is a job portal. Suppose a TCS company want to recruit the Java people. TCS people want the Java resumes. How TCS will get the Java resumes from the Naukri? So when you go for the Naukri, Naukri will take the money from the company, will give the access for the resumes to download. Monthly 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs license will be there to download the Naukri resumes. Are you guys getting my point? So now company will purchase the license from the Naukri database. Naukri database they will purchase. Naukri is selling our data to the companies. Companies will download our profiles based on our key skills only. So these key skills are very, very important in the Naukri profile. Based on these key skills only, they will search for the resumes, because lakhs of people uploading the resumes, lakhs of people uploading the resume for the Java, lakhs of people uploading resume for DevOps. In those lakhs of resumes, how your resume will get shortlisted? They will search for the resumes based on the keys. Let me show you. If you see here, your profile performance in the last 90 days, recruiter actions, search appearances. So this DevOps profile got searched 1285 times. Click on this performance. So here, search appearances. They have searched the keywords. DevOps keyword they have searched. DevOps engineer they have searched. Linux, AWS, Kubernetes. So companies have searched for the DevOps profiles based on these keywords. So for these keywords matched with my key skills. That's why My resume got in the search result. 1285 search appearances are there. 54 companies taken the action on this resume. You can see your resume performance also. You can see your resume performance also. So these keywords are very important, guys. And you can see which companies has downloaded your resume also. Which companies downloaded your resume. Which companies contacted you through your mail. Through your mail. You are configuring your email ID, right? They will send you an email to your mail ID, which you have used in the Naukri. Some people will download and will call to your mobile directly. Some people will just watch your profile. Maybe skill set is not matching for their requirement. So total 54 actions. Some 11 people watched this, 10 people downloaded this, 40 people contacted through email. You can see your profile performance also here. And your key skills are very important. As I told you, based on the keywords, they will search for the resumes. Whatever the keyword they are using, if that keyword is available in the key skill, then your resume will get in that list. They will download your resume. They will call you for the interview schedule. So key skills are very important, guys. Whatever you know, you just add the keywords. Now you see, they searched with a keyword called Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is there in my key skill. They searched with a keyword called DevOps. DevOps is there in the key skill. If they search with Ansible, Ansible is there. If it is a Java profile, definitely Java profiles will be searched with Spring Boot, Microservices, REST API, Apache Kafka, Docker. So those key skills you need to add. Then only your profile will come in the search result. And employment, in which company you are working, you can add that. And your educational details, your IT skills, you can add here. Projects, if you want, you can configure. Professional summary, again, profile summary is available. Whatever the profile summary we are adding in the resume, first 5 to 10 points are there. Those points you can add as a profile summary here. And your accomplishments, career profiles and all, you no need to mention. Personal details, if you want, you can mention what is your date of birth and whether you are married or single, and your address, languages that you can speak, career breaks are available or not, something like that. If you want, you can add. The most important thing is your resume headline and the key skills. That's it. Based on those details, your resume will be searched in the Naukri. Companies will search for the resumes in the Naukri. And in the Naukri, here jobs option is available. Here you can see what are the jobs. Senior DevOps engineer. You can click on this one and you can apply on this company. You can apply for this. You can apply for this. And when you get an email from the company, so you reply to that mail with your resume. So as here you see 40 people contacted this profile through email. That means company will send you a mail. For that mail, you need to reply with your details, with your resume, so that they will call you for the interview. So like that you can manage. Got it. Clear, guys? And sometimes they will ask you when they call, one question they will ask you, what is your total experience and what is your relevant experience? What is your total experience and what is your relevant experience? Total experience in IT, relevant experience in Spring Boot. Total experience in IT. My total experience in IT is 9 years, 9.5. My total experience in IT is 9.5. Relevant experience in Spring Boot. From last 5 years, I am working on the Spring Boot. So in the IT, I'm working from last 9.5 years, but I have started working with the Spring Boot from the last 5 years. So this example I'm taking, guys. So like this, they may ask you, what is your relevant experience on the Docker? What is your relevant experience on the Angular? What is your relevant experience on the Kubernetes? Relevant experience means from when you started working on that technology or from when you started working on that tool. That is called your relevant experience. Sometimes you can say my total experience and relevant experience on the Kubernetes is the same. Suppose if you keep the experience as DevOps engineer, total experience is 3 years. Relevant experience on Kubernetes is also 3 years. relevant experience on Kubernetes is also 3 years. You can mention like this. Total experience and relevant experience is same. Total experience means how many years onwards you are working in the IT as a DevOps engineer. In that, how many years you worked on the Kubernetes. Suppose you have only 2 years experience on the Kubernetes. You can say that. HR will ask you, what is your total experience as a DevOps engineer? What is your relevant experience on the Kubernetes? Total experience is 3 years. Relevant experience is 2 years. Like this. Guys, are you able to understand the difference between what is the total experience and relevant experience? What is total experience and relevant experience? Are you guys able to understand this difference? Total experience and relevant experience. Total experience means from how many years you are working in IT. Relevant experience means on particular technology from when you are working on that, and particular tool from when you are working on that. So total you have 3 years experience. What is your relevant experience on the Docker? What is your relevant experience on the Kubernetes? That you can mention. And in the interview, they will ask you, what is your notice period? What is the notice period? You are already saying that you are working for one company. Every company notice period will be available. Suppose if you are working for TCS, TCS company notice period 3 months. That means if you want to leave the TCS company, you need to inform 3 months in advance. So whenever they call for you in the resume, they will ask what is your notice period. Notice period means company will decide some notice period for the employees. If any employee want to leave the present company, if any employee wants to leave present company, then employee should serve notice period. Should serve notice period. For some companies, 1 month notice period available. For some companies, 2 months notice period available. For some companies, 3 months notice period is available. If you are a fake person, you can say that 1 month is the notice period or 15 days is the notice period. If you say immediate join, they will get a doubt whether you have experience or not. As I told you, mistake we are doing, we will do that perfectly. If you say 1 month experience, now as a fake experience guy, when you upload your resume, company will call you. What is your Ashok? What is your notice period? Assume that I don't have a job. I am a fake guy. My notice period is 1 month. Then HR will ask me, Ashok, can you negotiate that? Can you join within 15 days? I will say, I will try. That is a build up, na? Can you say that? I will join tomorrow. If I say that I will join tomorrow, that means I'm a fake guy. So I'm saying that I'm already working in a company. So when I'm working for a company, some company rules will be available. Some company policies will be available. We have to follow them. Even though I don't have a job, I will give you a build up like, yes, I will try. I will try to join in 2 weeks. I need to check with my manager. If he agrees, I will join. Otherwise, I need to join after 1 month. Samjha? They will ask you, can we negotiate? Can you negotiate? Can you negotiate? Can we negotiate notice period? You tell that I will try my best. Say that yes. Don't say that yes. They may ask you a question. Can you negotiate notice period? You said that your notice period is 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. When they ask you, can we negotiate notice period? Can we have a, they will tempt you. We have a immediate requirement. Can you join now? You tell that I'm already working in the company. So company notice period rule is available. I have to do the resign now. Once I kept the resignation, my notice period will start. After that notice period, I will come and join in your company. If you want me to join immediately, I need to check with my manager. Like that, you need to give that build up. They don't know that you are having a fake, you are waiting for job from last 1 year. You need to give the build up like you are already working. Mistake? अच्छे से करना पड़ेगा। गलती करना है, प्रॉपर प्लानिंग करके करना है। Are you guys getting my point? So if anybody asks you for fake people, if anybody asks you what is your notice period, what you need to tell? If anybody asks you what is your notice period, what do you need to tell? 1 month. 1 month. If they ask you, can you negotiate? What is your answer? I will try. I need to check with my manager. I will try. I will check with my manager. Got it. I will check with my manager. If my manager release me, I will join. And some companies will give you joining bonus, guys. What is joining bonus? Okay. When you join immediately, company will give you 1 lakh as joining bonus, 50,000 as a joining bonus. So to tempt you, companies will give you joining bonus. If you reduce notice period, if you join immediately, new company will provide some joining bonus amount. 50,000, or some companies will provide 50,000, some companies will provide 1 lakh joining bonus they will provide you. So when you are joining in the new company, they will give you some joining bonus to encourage the employees, to motivate them, or to make them feel, yes, it's a good company, they are giving joining bonus, like that. So when you got the new job, they will, along with your package, they will give you some joining bonus also. They will give you some joining bonus also. Clear, guys? Okay, perfect. So you got the clarity. What is your total experience and what is the relevant experience? These all are the non-technical stuff that we need to understand when we are going for experience job. You can ask them joining bonus. Once you got selected in the HR round, you can ask them, can you provide any joining bonus for me? Yes, you can ask, no problem. If they are ready, they will tell you yes. If they are not ready, they will tell no. Mostly they will give the joining bonus. Mostly companies will give the joining bonus. Total experience and relevant experience. Notice period. Notice period. Can you negotiate notice period? I will try my best. What is joining bonus? When you are newly joining in the company, they will give you some joining bonus. And sometimes they will ask you, do you have buyout option? Do you have buyout option? So that question also they are going to ask you. Buyout option means paying the money, paying the salary to the company instead of serving the notice period. Now, in the TCS, you are working, your notice period is 3 months, but you don't want to work for 3 months in the TCS. You got a foreign opportunity, paying the money back to company to come out from the company quickly without serving notice period. If you don't want to, serve notice period, if you don't want to serve your notice period, then you need to pay money for company to come out immediately. So when you got selected in the new company, your old company having 2 months notice period, but a new company wants you immediately. Then new company will give the money to buy out your notice period. Pay money to the company. Pay money to the company. pay money to the company if you don't want to serve the notice period. If you don't want to serve your notice period, then you need to pay money. You need to pay money. You need to pay money for company to come out immediately. That is called buyout. And what is abscond? What is abscond? What is abscond? Leaving the company without following the company rules and policies. Leaving company without following company rules and policies. Absconding. I don't suggest this, guys. So if you abscond from a company without informing the company, then they will blacklist your profile. So don't do this abscond. We should not do this. Still, there are some people who are doing the absconding. We should not do that. So if you do the absconding, you will not get any documents from the company. Company will not support for your background verification. If you abscond from the company, they will not provide any documents, and they don't support for background verification. If you abscond from the company, they will not provide any documents and they don't support for background verification. We should not do this process. We should not do like this. We should not do like this. We should not do like this. Okay. If you get the new opportunity, then inform the company, resign for the company, then go for that. Yes, new company will give you the buyout money. New company will give you, first you need to pay the buyout amount from your pocket. New company will give you that buyout amount. Note, we need to pay buyout amount from our pocket first. Then new company will give that amount to us. If they ask, then only you go for buyout. Otherwise, don't go for that. Okay, what is abscond? Leaving the company without following the company rules and policies. So if you abscond from the company, they will not provide any documents and they don't support for background verification also. We should not do like this. Your profile will be blacklisted if you abscond from the company. Got it? And what about UAN and PF? What about UAN and PF? UAN, nothing but a universal account number. PF, nothing but your provident fund. So this PF will be 12% of your basic salary. 12% of your basic salary will be available as a PF amount. Every month, every company will give you new PF account. When you join in the company, every company will give you one PF account. Every company will give you one PF account. All our PF accounts will be linked with one UAN number. That means now I worked for 4 companies. I have 4 PFs. all my 4 PFs are linked to one UAN. So companies will check your previous PF also. Do you have a PF? Now, when we change the company, we can transfer the old PF amount to old PF account balance to new PF account balance. When we change company, we can transfer old company PF amount to new company provided PF account. Old company PF amount we can transfer to new company PF account. Every company will give you new PF account. Every company will give you new PF account, guys. You need to remember that. PF is nothing but provident fund. So 12% of your basic salary they will give you as a PF for employee safety. 12% of the basic salary they will give you as a PF amount. Here what will happen, you know. So employer 12%, employer 12% plus employee 12%. Employee 12%. So total you will get 24% PF amount. That means from your salary, if they are taking 1200 as a PF amount, company will provide 1200. So monthly 2400 will be added. Monthly 2400 will be added to our PF account. 12% they will deduct from your salary. 12% company will provide you. 24% of PF amount will be added to your PF account. So it is for employee safety. It is for employee safety. If they give complete salary monthly, you will spend it for your expenses now. After 5 years, after 6 years, no savings will be there for you. So by thinking of employee safety, employee security, companies are providing this PF. PF stands for Provident Fund. So in your salary, basics, your salary will be divided into multiple parts. One part is called as basic salary. So if your salary is 40,000, basic salary will be there around 18,000 or 20,000 like that. So for that 20,000, they will calculate a 12% amount as a PF. Employer, nothing but company will give 12% for you. From your salary, they will deduct 12%. Your 12%, their 12% will become 24%. The 24% PF amount will be added to your PF account. It is for your safety. Tomorrow, when you are changing from one company to another company, every company will give you new PF account. All your PF accounts will be linked to one UAN account. So when you change the company, if you want to withdraw the PF amount, you can withdraw, or else you can transfer the PF balance from one PF account to another PF account. Come on, guys. If you have the UAN in the non-IT sector also, no problem. UA is in common. UAN is common. It can be any sector. UAN is common, no problem. So fake people, there are some consultancies who are giving the PF account also. And if fake people, if they ask, in my previous company, PF policy is not available, you can say like that directly. The fake people, you can say that my PF account is not available because my previous payroll company is a small consultancy, so they don't have the PF policy. You can say like this. You can escape from that. For genuine people, PF will be available. For fake people, PF will not be available. You can tell that in the interview. My previous company doesn't have the PF policy because it was a small consultancy outsourcing company. PF is not available. You can say like that. You can say like that. For genuine people, PF will be there. Every company will give the PF. Every company will give the PF. That is a company policy. But PF is optional, guys. It's not mandatory that you need to take the PF. It's optional. If you want, you can take it or you can ignore it. But most of the people will take it. 99.9% of the people will take it. But it is not mandatory. It is optional. UAN is also optional. When you are going for PF, definitely UAN is required. Your PF will be linked to UAN, Universal Account Number. In the EPFO website, you can apply for the UAN. UAN is based on your Aadhaar. Based on your Aadhaar number, they will give the UAN number for you. Based on the UAN, your PF number will be generated. To generate the PF, your PAN card is mandatory. For the fake experience people, don't show the PF guys. So tell that in my previous company, PF policy is not available. Some consultancies will provide you Form 16 and PF also. Some companies will provide genuine, some companies will provide fake. That you need to check with your consultancy people what they are doing. And one more thing is, some companies will give the 12% employer contribution will be available. In some companies, employer contribution will not be available. Few companies will give this contribution, few companies will not give that contribution. If a company not giving this contribution, then only your 12% will be added to the PF. In all the companies, that policy is not available. In all the companies, that policy is not available. Okay. Yeah. Then what is a pay slip? Pay slip. Every month company will give the pay slip for your salary details. Okay. Every month company will provide pay slip. Okay. Pay slip contains how many days we worked in that month and how many leaves we kept, how much salary we got, So in that, house rent allowance will be available, basic salary will be available, income tax deductions will be available, how much tax deducted from the last month salary, what is your basic salary, what is your house rent allowance, company, what amount company provided for last month. You worked for 1 month na. In that 1 month, how many days you worked, how much salary you got, how much tax amount deducted from your account, your PF amount, how much PF amount added to your PF account. All that information will be given as a pay slip. That means paycheck. Pay slip will be available. In the pay slip, all this information will be maintained. How much PF amount they added to your PF account, what is your house rent allowance, how much basic salary for you, how much income tax deducted from your salary. All that information will be available in the pay slip. Company will give you the pay slip. Every month they will send an email with your pay slip in the HR portal. So in the HR portal, we can download the pay slip. In company HR portal will be available. In company HR portal, we can download pay slip. Okay. And what is the Form 16? What is the Form 16? Form 16 is the yearly Form 16 will be available. Income tax information. How much is income you earned? It contains our income tax details. You are an employee, you are getting salary now. For in the year, 4 quarters will be available. For every 3 months is called 1 quarter, right? So in the last year, how much salary you got from the company and what is the tax and how much tax you paid, how much tax balance is there. So what is your income tax slab? All those things they are going to maintain, right? Fake experience people, these pay slips will be given by consultancy. Consultancies will give you these pay slips. They will take the money and they will give you these pay slips. Okay? Consultancy will give you pay slip, consultancy will give you Form 16 and everything. Few companies will ask for the Form 16 also. Form 16, it contains our income tax details. That means what is the tax, how much salary we got in the last year, how much salary we earned in last year, how much tax we paid, for income tax department, government, how much tax we paid for government. That information will be available in the Form 16. And remember, every year we need to file ITR, income tax returns. We need to file ITR every year. So consult consult one CA, chartered accountant. Consult one CA, chartered accountant. Chartered accountant will tell you what is ITR, how to file the ITR. So in future, when you are working in the company, if you want to take any loan, house loan or personal loan or car loans, if you want to take some loan from the bank, bank will ask your form 16, bank will ask your pay slip, bank will ask your ITR, income tax returns. So income tax returns, we can consult with the chartered accountant. They will tell you what is income tax return. That means you paid more tax than your income. Okay. Then you can show some returns and you will get money back from the income tax department. If you pay more amount for the tax, you are supposed to pay only 40,000 in the year, but you paid 60,000, 20,000 extra you paid. Then you need to go for ITR, income tax returns. If you file, then income tax department will send your amount back to your account. So how to file the ITR? Those things will be done by CA people. You need to talk to CA people. Yes. So if you this form, whenever you guys going for a new job, right? They will ask you all these details, guys. So when you are going for a new job, they will ask your PF number, UAN number, and they will ask your pay slips. They will ask your form 16, and they will ask your bank statements. For fake people, consultancy will give you all the information. For genuine people, you already have them. So lot of things you need to understand. Non-technical details. For experience, these informations are required if you want to go with experience. If you go as a fresher, this is not required. You will understand once you join in the company, everything. Every year, yearly once you will get the form 16. Yearly once you will get the form 16. Every month you will get the pay slip. Monthly wise pay slips will be available. Form 16 will be available for year. Some companies are asking for pay slip. Every company ask. Every company will ask. Every company will ask for payslip. Few companies are asking form 16 and bank statements. Your consultancy people will provide you those details. You are going to take the fake documents from the consultancies now. Those people will provide you all these details. Whether you pay extra tax or you don't pay extra tax, it is very important to file the ITR. If you don't pay the extra tax, then file the ITR with 0. ITR should be filed every year, guys. As an employee, you have to file the ITR for the tracking. So that will help you in future when you are applying for any loans and all that stuff. ITR is important. Whether you pay less tax or whether you pay more tax or whether you don't pay, please apply for ITRs, income tax returns. That is important for every person. That is important for every person. Okay, guys. Yep. So resumes I'm going to share in our Telegram channel, guys. Sample resumes I'm going to share in our Telegram channel. So here I have given the Telegram channel username. So go to Telegram app. You can search with this username. @Ashok IT official is our channel URL. Please go through the channel and join in the channel. So 12,900 subscribers are there. So please join in the channel and you will get all these resumes. Whatever the sample resumes I have given, you will get those resumes in the Telegram. I will make small corrections in the resumes and I will post those resumes in the Telegram. Okay? All of you able to join? @Ashok IT official is our channel URL. Please join in that. Sample resumes, this class notes also I will post in that. Okay. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this workshop. I hope this is helpful for everyone who don't have experience. Resume structure, how to prepare a resume, what sections we need to keep in the resume, how to keep the projects in the resume, how many projects we need to keep in the resume, and how to cover the gap as experience, how to manage PF and UAN, how to apply for the jobs in the job portals. So those things we understood. And income tax details also will be available, guys. So income tax details, if you talk to the chartered accountants, they will give you the clear information about income tax. That means how much tax we need to pay, how much tax we need to pay on monthly basis on this. So that information you will get from chartered accountant. Income tax slabs will be available. If you have 5 lakhs salary, how much tax you need to pay? If you have 10 lakhs salary, how much tax you need to pay? If you have 15 lakhs package, how much tax you need to pay? If you have 20 lakhs salary, how much tax you need to pay? Tax slabs will be available. So chartered accountant will help you with that income tax information. Chartered accountant will help you with the income tax information. If you have any friend, you can talk to them and they will give you more knowledge about that income tax slabs, ITR filing and all, HRA, how to manage the tax, all those stuff you can get from your chartered accountant. If you have any friends, you can talk to them. They will give you more information related to that tax part. They will give you more information related to that tax part. Got it? Yep. As I told you, I will share these resumes in our Telegram channel. Please join. Please join. All right. Now it is for doubts clarification. Now you can talk to me one by one if you are having any doubts. So in the Zoom, the people who are joined in the YouTube. So with this, we are done with this workshop, guys. So you can get this workshop details, class notes and class video and sample resumes in our Telegram channel. So I have shown you the Telegram URL. Please join with us in the Telegram so that you will get all this information related to this workshop. So with this, I'm stopping this YouTube live. So if anybody want to attend in the Zoom, the YouTube people, if you have any question, if you want to talk to me, now the crowd is reduced in the Zoom. So you guys can join in the Zoom now. Zoom link is already there in the Telegram channel, which I have given. The people who are watching in YouTube, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and click on bell icon so you can get the notifications when we are conducting these kind of workshops. Thank you. Bye bye. You can join in the Zoom. Zoom link I have given in the Telegram. If you have any questions, if you want to talk to me, you can connect with me in the Zoom now. I will be there for next 15 to 20 minutes for the doubts clarifications. Thank you, guys. Please join in the Zoom session now. People from YouTube, Zoom people. So take 2 minutes break, have some water, then we'll go with our doubt sessions. Okay.